How many chairs are you sitting on right now? Are you all in on the chair? You put on one pair of glasses, you've got one pair of AirPods right now. You're looking at me through one screen. Like you're using one microphone. That's the one microphone. Like you trust it? Is that conviction? Seems kind of scary. Why don't you diversify? Why don't you use 10 microphones? Do you drive in 10 cars at the same time or one car at one time? Do you drive down one street? Aren't you afraid that you're driving down one street? You know? Do you think a different way? You get on one airplane? Are you convicted? You put your entire family in the one airplane? Aren't you afraid? When you use knives, do you have copper knives, wooden knives, steel knives, aluminum knives, rubber band knives, diamond knives because you're afraid to commit to the right knife? So my point really is, ultimately, if you're a rational individual, it's a, it's a tool.
It's
Just one time. You gotta learn what the fuck is good, baby? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How y'all living, man? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the fucking stream.
Welcome back to the stream that I host every single day, except for Saturday and Sunday, and except for holidays, and except for when I'm having a bad day and want to take some time off, and except for special days, and except for when I get really tired. But welcome back to the fucking stream, man. How y'all doing? How y'all living? It is so good to be back with so many beautiful faces. Caleb, what's good? Sparky, what's good? Jackson, Ray, Kevin, Polka, Tulip King. Wow, Tulip King and DNAP at the same time. Teo at the same time. Jalen at the same time. At the same time as Polka. At the same time as Rustbond. At the same time as Kevin. At the same... Luke, what's wrong with the chat, twin? It's delayed? Interesting. At the same time as Coffee. At the same time as Hello. It's so good to see you all. It's so good to see you all. 1 to 10 right now. How you feeling? Genuinely, be honest. 10 is I feel like I am going to retire and be so rich and awesome today. And 1 is I'm quitting crypto right this moment. And this is the last stream I'm ever going to see until I leave forever. Threadguy, you're the last thing I'm ever going to see is a 1. Which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to keep it above. Fuck Finn Bags from Tom Brady XBT. Y'all think Tom Brady knows who Finn Bags is? Be honest. Be honest, you think Tom Brady knows who Finn Bags is? Probably not. Yeah, chat's super delayed, but I guess it doesn't really matter if we're being honest. Also, real quick, since we run like Chad multi-cross streams now, if you're watching on Twitter and you would like to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy is the only chat that I could read. People are on YouTube, can't really read it. People are on Twitter, I definitely can't read it. But if you're on Twitch, I can read it, and that's the only place I will be reading it. Luke, I think you could just leave it to it. I want to just lock in, ideally. All right, quick trivia question, real quick, just so I can get a sense of where we're at. What is the worst book of all time and why? Go. Everyone has 5 seconds to answer. What is the worst book of all time? I had this we did a little pop quiz at our company earlier today. And the worst book of all time and why? Go. Go. Wrong. The answer is The Creative Act, Rick Rubin. Not even close. The Creative Act, Rick Rubin. Not even close. Someone said Goggins' book because he's a failed father. I'm going to be honest. I saw some of that stuff. Luke, can you just go back to the normal chat? It would be ideal, honestly. I saw some of that Goggins stuff, and I kind of just chose to ignore it, low-key. I don't know. I didn't pay any attention to it, and I kind of just ignored it, and now we are where we are. It's The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Nothing even comes close. And if you ever meet somebody in your life and you ask them this question and you say, what is your favorite book? And they say The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, that person is a red flag. Is a bad person. They're not creative. And even worse is if they tell you it's the Rick Rubin vibe coding book. You gotta note these people and you gotta fear them. Okay. If you meet someone that is finished front to back, page 1 to page 364 of the Rick Rubin vibe coding book, you need to like be weary of this person. You need to know they exist. You need to keep them on your 6. You got to focus on them. You got to lock in on them. And I think it's an important way to start the stream. Okay. Dude, this is throwing me off really bad. What am I supposed to do? Okay, look, here's the deal. We have a bunch of things to talk about today. I'm going to bullshit for a little bit at the beginning because I want to bullshit about a couple things. First and foremost is in less than an hour, we have... Oh, did you fix it? No, bro, just put the regular chat, please. Please. Okay, here's what we're going to do. In 55 minutes... Is it back? Please chat, work. I think it's back. All right. Luke, whether it's back or not, okay, thank you. Whether it's back or not, I need you to just leave it alone because I can't focus. I actually can't focus. I'm ADD as fuck and my computer is moving and I can't focus. So, all right, 45 minutes from now, we are gonna have this fellow by the name of Hunter Beast come on the stream, and he is the Bitcoin developer, which, by the way, I didn't even know there was Bitcoin devs like that. He's a Bitcoin dev that's leading this like quantum upgrade proposal for Bitcoin. And every single day I'm hearing quantum FUD this, quantum FUD that, Nick Carter this, Nick Carter that. And honestly, we haven't talked about it because there's really nobody that understands it from what I'm aware of. There's hardly anyone that understands it. And we're going to have the guy come on that is literally working on the proposal to upgrade Bitcoin to be quantum resistant. And so that's what we're going to do. 45 minutes. He's going to come on, and I think it's going to be pretty engaging, interesting. Quantum's FUD. I hope quantum is FUD, but I don't really know. Nobody really knows, if I'm being honest. Everybody I've talked to is sort of like, I don't know. Also, what do you mean you can upgrade Bitcoin? Yeah, I know. Me either. Who fucking knew? Bitcoin has devs. By the way, I know. I know. So that's where we're at. He's going to come on in 45 minutes. Until that, there's a bunch of stuff we want to talk about and a bunch of stuff that I want to go over. First and foremost, who was here yesterday for our little Roblox stream, and what did you think? Genuinely, what did you think? Because I have a couple clips here, and the engagement on these things are fucking nuclear, bro. Look at this. This clip right here has 1.6 million views, bro. Creators are making $38.5 million a year. The top 10 creators, and now look, there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of creators. The top 10 are making 38 million a year. Bro, the top 10 creators on Roblox are making NBA money. The top 10 creators on Roblox are making Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Josh Allen's, Mookie Betts type of money. It's kind of crazy how nuclear this went. Like we had basically had this Roblox segment ready to go for like a couple weeks, bro. I don't know. It wasn't like ready to go, but it was in the pipeline for a week or two, and I kept putting it off. Tulip King and Daniel are like, please, Roblox. And I'm like, no. And then JP Morgan analysts, just to get a 600K views on this clip. This thing is. This isn't just a bunch of fucking kids playing Roblox. JP Morgan analysts estimated that Grow a Garden alone had grossed $150 million by late June, 3 months after its launch. 3 months after launch, it grossed $150 million, and that's from JP Morgan. The owners were making $20 million per month, even after the Roblox disgusting cut on the USD Roblox conversion. So I really don't know if there's a trade for us here at all. I really don't know if there's a trade here for us, but I'm fucking interested. And so I like locked in, and I've basically been playing hours over the last couple of days of Roblox. These are the top games. Once again, just quick update. This top game, Fish It, bro. 800,000 players are on it right now. Right now, bro. Second game, 560. Third game, 470, 430, 430, 400, 400, 400. I've been playing, I don't even know where it is. Here it is. Grow a Garden, which has 45K concurrent, and I probably played 3 hours yesterday. So we had this session. We're doing this session where I'm convinced that we can, like, I'm convinced, and the team is convinced we can go viral on YouTube with some of these videos. And so it's like, look, the Roblox clips, we did like 3 million views yesterday of clips. 3 million views on Roblox clips yesterday alone. 3 million just yesterday on Twitter. Just on Twitter. And so I'm convinced, and everybody's convinced, that we need to lock in on YouTube a little bit here. And like that should, if they got 3 million views on Twitter, how many views can it get on YouTube, right? And so we sat here yesterday at 10 p.m. after I got back from the gym, me, the whole team, and the content team, and we sat here and we edited just the 3-minute intro of the video for like an hour, okay? And I'm going to be completely honest, it was the first time in the history of my content career that I've ever watched game footage. I don't pay any attention. Like, I've never watched back the stream before, ever. I've never watched it back. I watch the clips sometimes, but I've never watched back a threadguy stream ever because it's so brutal. I can't do it. And dog, I don't know how y'all do it. It was brutal. I was listening to myself and it was so brutal. It was bad. It genuinely was bad. I don't know how y'all do it for 3 hours. I'm grateful that you do, but it's so hard to listen to yourself. But the point I'm trying to make is the entire call I was on Grow a Garden, and brother, it was fucking electric. I'm not gonna lie. First thing I did when I woke up this morning was I turned on. You get 20 minutes before you get deactivated in Roblox, so you could like farm your shit for 20 minutes before you get deactivated. And the first thing I did when I woke up this morning was turn on my PC and let my 20-minute like segment so my shit could grow. I've been playing a lot. Like, I've actually been playing a lot. So I don't know what we're gonna talk about or how much we're gonna talk about it moving forward, but it was pretty alarming to me how interested crypto people were. Like, it makes sense that the crypto economy is interested in other internet economies. Wait, what is this? Wait, what is this? Everyone, the crypto guys are catching on. Reach out to them in DMs and gather fundings. No man left behind. Best time to get rich. Big ass investors invested millions to Voldex. You can secure a couple thousands, gain trust. Use your funds right. A16Z invested into Voldex and Teal. Do you know what that means? No fucking way. Wait, what is this from? No fucking way, bro. Wow. The Roblox kids are... No way. No way, bro. It's crazy after all this time and where crypto sentiment is right now. People see crypto and they just see the fastest moving big capital money. Like, that's our reputation. Yes, it's a little bit retarded and our reputation is like a little bit scammy and shady, but people see crypto and they see big money, they see big dicks, and they see willingness to throw it around. That screenshot is crazy, bro. Holy shit. Wow. What do we even do about that? Do you want me to interview a couple Roblox guys after this is all done? Because I had insane inbound. Genuinely, I had insane inbound from yesterday's stream. And I had all these people hit me up and they're like, we're a Roblox studio. We're venture funded. Like, we get paid to build games. Da, 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 da. Let me come on. Let me come on. Let me come on. Like, it was insane. I'm like, where the fuck did people come from? Came out of the absolute woodwork. Where was it? Actually, where did people come from? Okay, we're gonna move on from the Roblox, but the one thing I want to read is this tweet, and I think it's a little bit of a hard realization for some crypto people, but Udi tweeted this, and Udi low key put this on my radar. I'm not gonna lie, Udi put this on my radar, 100% put Roblox on my radar, and he said, and he tweeted, everybody loves digital collectibles. Nobody likes NFTs. Collecting digital items is now mainstream and we slept through it. Some NFT heads have enjoyed trading Counter-Strike skins and items last few years, but that was niche. Digital collectibles are much bigger now. Pokemon TGC Pocket, which is huge. I play this. Like, I actually log into this and play this. Pokemon TGC Pocket is a mobile-only app inspired by the physical cards, but completely separate. People log in every day, get some free digital cards, and then they can buy more. They can swap the cards with their friends to complete sets, but players can't sell their own cards for money. There's no marketplace. You can't cash out. Recently, the app celebrated its first birthday. Revenue in the first year, $1.3 billion. That's for digital cards no one can touch and no one can ever sell. You just stare at them on your phone screen. Meanwhile, Roblox kids are creating new games with in-game items that players can collect. Weird characters with names like da-da-da and Strawberry Elephant. Then when they hit a rare one, they go on eBay and list it. There's a booming economy. This stuff, entirely digital, no utility, just flex value. Trading volumes on these digital collectibles is probably much higher than NFTs. This is not true. This is not true. Maybe right now, but this is not true. Maybe right now. This is definitely not true though. Not in our heyday. Maybe right now. And even though there's a ton of restrictions on trading them, nobody cares that trading is just hacky and a huge chore, or that you don't truly own it. They just want to collect. Naturally, most of these collectors hate NFTs. They hate when the name is even brought up. When rumors were going wild a year or two ago about the Pokemon company possibly launching a Sui-based NFT app, the 300 people on CT who care about Sui were ecstatic, but every other Pokemon fan in the world was yelling on YouTube and Instagram they'll never touch Pokemon again if it happens. That did happen. I'm also paying attention to Yuga Labs launching their new Other Side drop later today on Amazon, which just happened. You don't mint it with ETH or an ape on OpenSea. You pay with your credit card on Amazon. Anyone could buy it, and the term NFT doesn't appear anywhere. Actually, is that live on Amazon? Can we see? I saw that. I don't want to like dox my fucking. Is it not logged in? Yuga Labs. No, nowhere to be found. Yeah, it's a little bit of like a black pill tweet on the collectible stuff, because he makes a fucking good point. And the good point that he makes is that digital collectibles are massive. They're everywhere. They're accepted. They're adopted. And nobody really wants them to change. Like, I don't really think anyone on Roblox wishes that they were NFTs. Now, they don't really know maybe how much money you could save on fees or things of this nature, but I don't really think that anybody wants it to change. And I've sort of come to the conclusion that the only way this metaverse pendulum could swing back to crypto is if we do the one thing that we're really good at, and that's just deploy tokens. That's what I think. I don't think interoperable NFTs and cross ownership is going to be this massive thing anymore. At least not now. It's not ready. And nobody wants it because it's like these things already exist. These economies already exist and they're fucking huge. And nothing that has the word NFT has any interest to the people that are actually using these digital collectibles. And so I think the one thing that we're really good at is crowdsourcing capital and deploying tokens. That's the one thing we're really good at if we're just calling a spade a fucking spade. And so I'm curious to see how it happens. But that's the only white pill for the metaverse is like Roblox meets Pump Fun type of convergence. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Also, I've been getting spammed with this. What's it called? Hyrox? What's it called? Crypto metaverse thing? What's it called? What is it called? Hytopia. Thank you, Jesus. Hytopia. It has a good amount of players on it. I hopped on it today. It has a good amount of players on it, but I played it for like the tokens are like 5-6 mil. I don't know. I hopped on for like 20 minutes. Was playing today. Maybe it's something we could talk about at a later date. I hope they do well. But it's crazy. I hadn't heard of it until I posted. You know what's funny about crypto people is I posted this tweet yesterday and I was basically saying like my thesis for crypto metaverse and I was asking who's building this. And every single comment is like crazy how the KOLs aren't paying attention. Like threadguy only talks about shit he gets paid for. Like they're not paying attention. We're literally been building this for years. Threadguy just doesn't fuck with us. It's like, no, bro, there's just nobody using it. Like if it was really popping and it was really the answer, I would know about it. That's what I think is always so funny. It's like, bro, I would know about it. This is all we do all day. We log on here for 4 hours a day, before stream, after stream. The only thing we do is crypto. If you were really popping with the crypto metaverse thing, I would know about it. Like, there's no scenario in which I wouldn't. It's like, it's the funniest cope to me. If you were really cooking with crypto metaverse, I would be aware of it. Or somebody in this chat would be aware of it. So that is what that is. Let's just get right into on-chain stuff, which is we had an absolute disastrous day of on-chain. We had a disastrous day of on-chain. I'm going to start with the bad, we'll end with the good, and we'll leave somewhere in the middle. The bad is Ralph Dev basically just hit the kill shot to the face on AI on-chain Claude season. And man, it just like brings me back to that first Friday stream, which was last Friday, by the way. That stream was last Friday. And I came on and I was just like, fuck. Was I too bearish on the AI coins? Was I too bearish on the AI coins? And I genuinely thought that I was too bearish on the AI coins. And so here's what happened is Ralph Dev, Mr. Huntley, makes a tweet and he says, quote, moments like this will test the paper hands from the diamond hands. I still hold Ralph, by the way. I could have waited 12 hours until the next vesting schedule before selling, but I didn't. I could have waited 12 extra hours, but I didn't. 12 whole hours. Proof attached. It's been a fun 2 weeks where folks have made millions trading this coin backwards and forwards. Fees have been lovely, but I too also need to, quote, de-risk from my investments. There's still a long road ahead. This was the easiest way to think long-term without entering into super weird, sketchy grant contracts, which would have been restraining and risky. I don't even really know what that means. What does that mean, risky grant contracts? I'm not even entirely sure what that means. Then followed by the hat stays on. First of all, brother, you can nuke our tokens, you can take our money, you can dump our coins, you can bring us pain, but don't you dare appropriate our culture with the hat stays on. Don't you fucking dare appropriate our culture talking about the hat stays on. That's ours. The money can be yours. The token can be yours, but don't you fucking dare gaslight me with the hat stays on. Jeffrey Huntley. Okay, so look, he does this. I mean, slap in the face. Talking about the hat stays on. What were you doing when Whiff came out? You were not here for Whiff. Okay, what were you doing when Whiff came out? You have no fucking. You don't even know what that means. You don't know what that means to us. It means nothing to you, Jeff. To you, Whiff is just some little fucking silly thing you can throw on your tweet to get Ansem to retweet. I know how this game works. Okay. To you, Whiff is just some little fucking knitted hat you can throw on and you get an Ansem retweet. Coin pumps a little bit, but to us, you don't even know what that shit means, man. To us, you don't, take the 300K and go fuck off, but don't fucking hat stays on, Mog this, Billy to a Billy that. Don't you get the fuck. Look, he sold his tokens. Okay, not only did he sell, but he FSH'd full stacked 200,000 United States dollars, 200,000 United States dollars into the chart, and boom, 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 just like that. Down 95.74% in 48 hours. Okay. Here's the deal. I mean, look at this tweet. That's one hell of a dagger. Let's see who has the balls to hold on. I'm going to be completely honest. Ralph dumping 96% in 48 hours is not Jeffrey's fault. And this is unfortunate, and I think it's going to just put a knife to the heart of an on-chain meta that had some, I genuinely think had some legs. I don't think it's his fault. Because, man, honestly, the mechanism was just fucking terrible. Okay? The mechanism was just fucking terrible. And the thing that Bags app was really good at is the thing that has destroyed it. And Bags app is really good at convincing people that want nothing to do with a crypto token to associate themselves with a crypto token by claiming free money. And that's exactly what he did. He claimed free money. It's exactly what he did. It's the whole purpose of the whole life cycle. The whole purpose of a Bags app token is to convince somebody that doesn't want a crypto token to claim free money from the crypto people. Teo, thanks for the gifted. And that's exactly what happened. And I think it is frustrating. And I think this is going to put us back into a well-deserved mini bear on the on-chain stuff. We had a little bit of life and we just pop it right in the head. But you can't really hate the dev for this, in my opinion. It's like, did he play us like a fiddle a little bit? Yes. Did he bull post Ralph super hard? Yes. I'm going to be completely honest. His biggest mistake, the biggest mistake of the Ralph founder was not playing this thing out for 2 more weeks because he would have made way more money. That's his biggest mistake, if we're being honest, is not playing this out for 2 more weeks. He would have made way more money. Now, do I like him? No. Do I appreciate how he went about this? Absolutely not. Do I think he knew what he was doing and he kind of just stuck a big one to us? Yes, he did. But it's like, show me the incentives and I'll show you the outcome. And our incentives with the Bags app token are just not good. And I think the real take here is something like this. I'll just go out. I don't see how the Bags app meta is sustainable in its current form. We've seen it time and time again. Tax tokens to create various incentives for devs and communities don't survive long. There's too much extraction of capital to keep the flywheel going. I just think the Bags app mechanism is doomed. I think it's doomed. And for the same reason that it worked, it gloriously has failed. And this tweet right here will probably forever mark the Pico top of the Bags app. This tweet that can be found right here. It's crazy. It's genuinely crazy. This is the Pico. This tweet right here will be marked as the Pico top of the Bags app. Ironic. It's just the way shit goes. It's just the way she goes. I don't think we're done with crypto AI. And I don't think that two AI guys coming and grifting a little money from crypto should at all change the way that you think about crypto in the industry that we log on to every single day. But yeah, it didn't end great. It really didn't end great. There is still one token hanging on from this AI season, and I almost don't even want to talk about it because I'm afraid of it ending like the last. Cred Chris, what's good? Cred Chris, I don't think that you're the Cred Chris I thought you were, by the way, when I called you my biggest hater, because I just, I don't think you're the biggest, I don't think you're the Cred Chris I thought you were. There's one token from this meta that still looks decent, which is this. Soul Tomato. And I don't know what to do with this. It's fun to follow. And I appreciate how the dev is like, what is his name? Martin DeVito or something? Here. Yeah, Martin DeVito. He seems to be with the shits. Like, I think the one positive takeaway from us getting rugged by 2 AI native devs is probably this tweet. If you had to take one positive takeaway, I think it's this. It's this. Crypto has product market fit as internet money, a home for experimentation that sits outside of traditional finance. In which case, Solana continues to win until it completely displaces ETH as the default. You could judge this, but it would require shorting human degeneracy. And shorting degeneracy although it sounds good, is the same as believing in the tooth fairy. The one positive takeaway from here, whether you like it or not, is that the founder, the creator of Ralph, builds this instance, this little extension on top of Claude Code. It goes extremely viral. It gets used by tons and tons and tons of people. It gets glorified in the developer community, and he makes absolutely nothing. He makes nothing. He comes to Solana. He claims bag fees, aka launches a token on Solana. It gets picked up by the crypto community. They fucking love it. They worship him. They cherish it. And he makes $500,000+ where he otherwise would have made nothing. And if all else fails, and the frustrating part with crypto is we still don't know what to do with it, but crypto has reached product market fit as internet money. Now, we don't really know what to do with it. We don't really know what to do with it. We haven't really figured out what to do with it still. It's 2026, and I think this is the two-way meme where the guy's looking out of the window and one of them's gloomy and one of them's positive. And the gloomy side is it's been 10 plus years, way more, 15 years, and we still don't know what to do with crypto. And then the other side is like, oh my God, we still don't know what to do with crypto. And it's so optimistic and exciting because we have reached PMF as internet money. He would have made nothing. He built this incredible tool. He would have made nothing. And here he is, $500,000 richer on the back of the crypto community, which is the money of the internet. It's the optimistic outlook. And Ralph going to like 40 mil with the worst tokenomics ever on the Bags app with the CA ending in bags, still going to 40 mil shows you that if you can build something decent, people will fucking froth at it, bro. They will go fucking hard. And it kind of brings me to this right here. It brings me to this. Twofold take I have here. Number one, everything is crypto now. The launch videos, the fake ARR, the fake users, the affiliate kickbacks, the coordinated pumps, the group chats, the random FUD from competitors. Now, this frames crypto culture in a negative light, okay? I think the positive light from this is that one of the reasons crypto culture, I think crypto Twitter, is always on the ball, and what we think is consensus is not consensus to the world for a couple years, is everything in culture, especially on the internet, is just downstream of crypto Twitter culture. It's all sort of conforming to us. I think one of the best examples is Cluely, bro. Cluely, like Roy Lee, is a watered down version of what Frank D. Gods was in 2021, 2020, what Yuga Labs was in 2021, 2022, what these NFT projects were in 2021, 2022. Dominate Twitter, go fucking viral, control the narrative, and be incredible at hype and raising money and running narrative on Twitter. And again, I think this tweet right here comes back to the Frank tweet I just read, which is crypto Twitter has found product market fit as internet money. There's one more that I really like. Two of them today, actually. Overhated. Crypto degens. Disadvantaged third world drivers with self-made dreams, psychedelic hyper futurism, deep new media lores, no boomers, volatility, exotic financial instruments. One always tries to check oneself, but the charm is undeniable. Even if our tokens fail and our launches look like shit and our products don't succeed very well and our users churn and our altcoin charts look terrible, and oftentimes our morals and our intentions can be questioned, the one thing you can't question is the cultural significance of crypto Twitter and how year after year after year, it just becomes completely more obvious that we're just right. That we're just right, and more markets, more interactions, more social circles, more niches, more industries all across the world will look and trade and act more like crypto than not as time goes on. It's the one thing that we've done right is the culture and the PMF of internet money. It's the one thing we've done right. Genuinely, it's the one. Like yesterday, even I'm sitting here and I'm like, I almost wanted to cling on to something. I'm like, bro, it's like, how many more fucking altcoin charts can I look at that look like plasma before I just can't take it anymore? And it's like the one thing that we've gotten right is the cultural part. Genuinely. My take on this. You know, I don't even think Bagzap fumbled, bro. I don't even think Bagzap fumbled. I just think it did what it was supposed to do. They made the money they deserved to make, and we moved on. Check Michael Pike's last tweet. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard shell tomato. It's cool. I'm not that interested. This, if there was anything to latch onto, my friends, if there was anything to latch onto, it's the positive version of this. That society and culture on the internet is just going to be a downstream of crypto Twitter. It is. Narrative is everything. Fundamentals don't matter because everything's a scam. And trends are just going to become a downstream of crypto Twitter because it's the most brutal, raw PvP form of capitalism. And everything is just the downstream effects of that. It really is. And if there was anything for me to hold on to, that's what I'm holding on to. That's what I choose to hold on to, is our significance. Here's one more tweet on this, actually. I didn't really plan for this to be a topic, but maybe we'll do a longer segment. I want to write an article about this, but I don't even really know how to. I don't even really fully know what I'm saying. There's one more tweet. I don't even really fully know what I'm saying about it, but here's one more tweet about it. The best output of crypto is a bunch of smart, non-conforming people got rich and can now do things in the world. Can you sing chat on screen? Yeah, must be fucking nice. I will do it tomorrow. Sorry it's delayed. There's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. This is just a great take. It's a great fucking take. And if all else fails, culturally, we were right, and we will continue to be right about where the world is headed, where markets are headed, and where society is headed. And if that means we have to start trading fucking Robux on the black market, we, my friends, will start trading Robux on the black market. Okay, I have a topic for you. We have 20 minutes before the quantum dev comes on to tell us if the world is going to end with Bitcoin dumping or not. And it is an article written by ours truly, Mr. Ryan Watkins, founder of Syncrecy Capital. Okay? It's a fucking absolute banger. Before we watch it, let's get a little bit hyped up with my favorite video on the internet right here.
But one of them caught our eye, the one in the center. He would neither go
Be that penguin today, chat. Be that fucking penguin.
towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why? With 5,000 kilometers ahead of him, stand still and let him go on his way.
Be like this fucking penguin today. Before I read and skim this article, there's a comment from Mr. Johnny. We will look back at this time and be pissed we were throwing money on shitcoins during the TradFi AI super cycle. No, you will look back at the earliest stages of the programmable money megatrend and be frustrated that you weren't more focused on the future of finance being built right before our fucking eyes. The intersection of AI and crypto. You will look back on this era of programmable money and say, holy fuck, I had an opportunity to build and participate in the future of finance, and I was doubting it. I was not paying attention to it. I wasn't focused on it. I didn't think it had a fucking chance. So here's what we're going to do. Before we get the quantum dev on, we, my friends, are going to read an article from ours truly, Ryan Watkins. Thread guy, what would you make it if it wasn't for crypto? Me? Would I make it if it wasn't for crypto? Brother, you could put me in a fucking brick box, lock it shut with super glue, and punt it to the bottom of the ocean. I would still find a way to get money out that box. You could lock me in handcuffs at the bottom of the ocean in a maximum security prison in the deepest, most secure cell on Alcatraz, and I would still find a way to get fucking money, bro. I would still find a way to get money, chat. Everybody else, I don't know, but me, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely, brother. Abso-fucking-lutely. I want to test that theory. Luke, he's in the waiting room. I muted desktop audio. I'm going to admit him. He's now in the Zoom. If you could talk to him, Luke, that'd be great. We have 15 minutes, and I'm going to spend my 15 minutes wisely, and I'm going to read this article. So look, I almost feel like this article was written for me because yesterday I got myself a little bit bearish on the what are we doing here thought that creeps into your mind over a long enough period of time in crypto. When you see enough moments like Ralph, you think to yourself a little bit, what are we doing here? And I'm going to tell you what we are doing here right now. I'm going to just read through this article because it's important to go through it. Okay. The Twilight Zone on the crypto economy in 2026 and beyond. Written by Ryan Watkins. Okay. Key takeaways. 1. The asset class pulled forward expectations too far in 2021. Since then, valuations have been rationalizing and are now reasonable for quality assets. Shit got frothy in 2021. It is no longer frothy. You can now reasonably value where we currently are. Number 2. With sentiment in the gutter following the 4-year bear market in altcoins, the multi-year opportunity is mispriced for top projects, with few analysts modeling exponential growth. There's opportunity in crypto, and most people are not seeing it. Third one we'll highlight. Few forces are as powerful as an idea whose time has come. And the crypto economy has never felt more inevitable. One more time. Few forces are as powerful as an idea whose time has come. And the crypto economy has never felt more inevitable. Chat, you ever just felt like it's your time? You ever really just sat back, opened your journal, thought about it, and felt like it's time? Few forces in the world are more powerful than it just simply being your fucking time. So I'm just going to skim and go to our highlighted parts. And so the Red Queen cycle. In many ways, expectations are all that matters in financial markets. Surpass them and prices go up. Fail to and prices go down. Over time, expectations move in a pendulum, with forward returns tending to be inversely correlated. And so here's one of our bear pills right here, not highlighted, but Bitcoin has made no progress towards gold terms since its 2021 peak. Bitcoin has basically been in a bear market against gold since 2021, which is a little bit alarming and frustrating. And the disappointment has been especially acute for all the speculators and opportunists that thought crypto was the lowest effort way to get rich. Over time, the struggle has produced widespread burnout across the industry. Look, it is still the case that you can low effort come into crypto and you can get rich, but it's significantly more difficult than it used to be, especially in 2024 at the peak during meme coin mania, during meme coin throw off. It's gotten significantly more difficult. It's gotten significantly more competitive because there's less capital across more people trying to do it. And that sort of leaves you to a spot where in order to launch a successful altcoin in 2026, you got to be the best of the fucking best. Like, bro, if it was 2024, Trove would have TGE'd and gone to hundreds of millions of dollars before they wouldn't have had to ruck. It would have launched, it would have gone to hundreds of millions of dollars, and they would have pulled out way more money from that. Nevertheless, the silver lining in all this is that the above issues are already widely understood and prices reflect as such. Today, Few crypto natives are willing to even entertain long-term fundamental theses on anything but Bitcoin anymore. After 4 years of pain, the asset class now has the requisite conditions to begin surprising to the upside again. So altcoins have been in a wasteland since 2021. And this is part of the reason we feel so much pain and have felt so much pain. As mentioned in the prior section, the crypto economy entered the cycle with a number of structural issues. This we talk about all the time. The equity token problem, there's a lot of them. The good thing is everybody now understands this, and many of these issues are becoming relics of the past. Couple things. One, peer-to-peer internet platforms that enable users to transact and enforce contractual relationships without government or corporate intermediaries. Huge. Crypto has done it. Orangey, thank you for the raid. Two, digital dollars that can be stored and transferred anywhere on earth where there's internet, providing billions with cheap and reliable money. This has happened. This exists right now. Crypto has done it. Second thing, fucking awesome. Third thing crypto has done, permissionless exchanges that enable anyone, anywhere to trade the top global assets across any asset class 24/7 in a single transparent venue. Look, the one thing you can't say about crypto is the tech isn't good. The fact that I, anywhere in the world, can log on, long Hyperliquid, or long, I don't know, Bitcoin, sell Bitcoin, long Ethereum, Solana, or any random altcoin, layer 0, I can sell it, then go long Tesla in the same exchange with the same balance. It's fucking incredible. 4, novel derivative instruments such as event contracts and perpetual swaps that offer society value predictive insights and more efficient price discovery respectfully. 5th, global collateral markets that ensure users to permissionally access credit through transparent automated infrastructure that substantially reduces counterparty risk. 6, democratized asset creation platforms that enable anyone, individuals and institutions alike, to issue publicly tradable assets at a fraction of a penny. Take it or fucking leave it. What Pump Fund has allowed people to do, to launch anything, deploy anything instantly for basically free, it's game changing technology. You couldn't do this in 2021. It was difficult to deploy in 2021. Now, is this good for the industry? Is it bad for the industry? Is it somewhere in between? That's unclear, and that's sort of up for everyone to have their own debate about. But the tech is incredible. 7, open fundraising platforms that enable anyone in the world to raise capital for their business and overcome local economic constraints. I would argue that crypto's greatest strength is its ability to crowdfund really fast for new ideas at basically zero. Now, we don't really know what to do with it to this day. We don't really know what to do with it. And you can look at that on the doomer side, or you can look at it on the optimistic side. I'm going to choose to look at it on the optimistic side. And the eighth thing he highlights here is physical infrastructure networks that crowdsource capital and distribute operations across independent operators, creating more scalable and resilient infra. This isn't a comprehensive list of all the valuable idea cases this industry has built so far. Regardless, the point is that many of these use cases are demonstrating real value and are growing regardless of crypto price action. Bitcoin up, Bitcoin down, altcoins up, altcoins down. Our tech is real. Our tech is being adopted, and our tech is working on the highest level for some of the most important traders, venues, IRL brokers everywhere across the world. You could look at it as a black pill. You could look at it as a white pill, honestly. And so this also, optimistic side of this article. Look at these charts. The crypto economy is compounding growth. 1, stablecoin transfer volume up fucking only. 2, mobile wallet users up fucking only. 3, on-chain spot and perp volume. One of the most insane charts ever. Look at this chart. Up fucking only. And 4 is application revenue. For as ridiculous as market caps were in 2021, nobody was making any money, bro. Nobody was making any money. And so yes, price to earnings and valuations have compressed significantly, but the apps are making way more fucking money. In parallel, also Luke, I'll probably be 5 minutes late. Tell him 4:50. In parallel, dual equity token models are being rectified as regulatory pressure eases and founders recognize the cost of misalignment. To this day, this is our most important problem in crypto. Solving this probably changes the industry forever. Not solving this leaves us in a little bit of an unclear regulatory gray area. Solving this, the dual equity token model problem, which we will talk about increasingly as time goes on, I'm going to have some good guests on it as well, is probably the biggest problem. The biggest single issue to solve right now in crypto is this. Whoever solves is going to make a fucking $1 billion. A number of existing projects are consolidating assets and revenue into a single token, while others are clearly delineating that on-chain revenues belong to token holders while off-chain revenues belong to equity holders. Love it, hate it, Pump Fund and Hyperliquid are fucking important for the future of altcoins not being valueless. Hyperliquid and Pump Fund buying back basically 99% of their revenue into tokens is fucking important, bro. Important. It's a vibe shift. Genuinely, it's a vibe shift. Let's keep going. In fact, with enough time, the idea of self-sovereign ownership of on-chain cash flows may come to be understood as a similar scale unlock as self-sovereign digital stores of value. So basically, the ownership of cash flows for these tokens, he's saying, could become as big of an unlock as Bitcoin. It's a big statement. After all, when else in history have you been able to hold digital bearer assets that are paid autonomously every time a program is used from anywhere on Earth? Big. So here's a couple charts. I can zoom in a little bit more. The winning blockchains are emerging. Adjusted stablecoin transfer volume, good looking chart. TVL, great looking chart. Application revenue up only, and spot DEX revenue is flat to up only. Against this backdrop, winning blockchains are emerging as the internet monetary and financial foundation. That would take us back to the Frank tweet that I seemingly have lost, but I will bring back and read it one more time, which is crypto has found product market fit as internet money, a home for experimentation that sits outside of traditional finance. This has happened. We just don't really know what to do with it yet, which is honestly inspiring that we've built an industry of trillions of dollars, $3-5 trillion of value, and we don't even know what to do with it. Like, we have no idea what to do with the $3-5 trillion of value, and we've still captured that much. You could honestly look at that as fucking impressive. Okay, you could honestly look at that shit as impressive. This is genuinely one of the craziest charts of all time. Again, if you need a reason to be optimistic about why people would build and continue to iterate and innovate in crypto, you would look at this chart right here. Crypto apps generate revenue at unprecedented velocity. Okay, total days it took to $100 million in revenue. It took Hyperliquid 89 fucking days to do 100 million revenue. It took ChatGPT 3 years. No, it took ChatGPT 4 years. It took ChatGPT 4 years to do 100 million revenue. It took Hyperliquid 89 days. It took Axiom 117. It took Pump Fund 186. Photon got there quicker. Uniswap got there quicker. Jupiter, brother, Bonkbot got to 100 mil in revenue multiple years faster than ChatGPT. Bonkbot got to $100 million in revenue 3 years faster than ChatGPT. Are you fucking kidding me? Brother, Backpack. Mad Lads, Backpack, garbage ass exchange got to $100 million in revenue 2 years before ChatGPT. Backpack. Chat, yes or no? Have you ever used Backpack Exchange? Yes or no? 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 No, 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 no. 2 years before ChatGPT, brother. Are you out of your fucking mind? Backpack. Think about that. And you're bearish on technology. No, bro. You're bearish on crypto. No, bro. Phantom Wallet. Aave. Radium, bro. What are we talking about? Crypto apps now trade at similar multiples to the S&P 500 index. There's two ways to look at this. The first way you could look at this is be like, oh my God, valuations have compressed. Oh my God, crypto is in this massive speculative bubble. The second way you could look at this is be like, oh my God, valuations have compressed. These assets are finally investable again. I can finally take a stab at some of this shit. With valuations now reset following 4 years of pain, it's important to now ask yourself, what if this all does in fact go exponential? What if it actually pays to dream again? What if, brother? What if dreamers start getting paid out again? Drinking air. Fuck no, there's still a little bit in there. What if? Yeah, sorry for calling it garbage. Don't clip that, please. I'm sorry, backpack. Watch this. Luke, 10 minutes. I'll be on in 10 minutes. Last section. Last section. Maybe my favorite quote of all time. And I want you to really think about what I'm going to say. Chat. I want you to really think about what I'm going to say. Are you ready for me to say what I'm about to say? Because I'm about to drop a quote on you, and I need you to really digest it. I need you to put this, inject it into your... That wasn't the best visual to do. I need you to really inject this into your body. Are you ready for what I'm about to say? I need you to really hear me on this one. Are you ready for what I'm about to say, chat? Are you ready for what I'm about to say? Are you ready for what I'm about to say? Okay, I'm about to leave you with a quote. And it's an incredible quote. It's an important quote, and it's one that I want you to digest. Okay, and what I'm going to say is to light a candle is to cast a shadow. Wow, threadguy, profound. To light a candle is to cast a shadow. It hasn't quite been 10 years. Okay, wait. By this fella, Ursula. Okay, and he had a quote. And he said, after giving me a crash course on the unsustainable sovereign debt loads and collapsing trust in institutions, he ultimately tells me what he told the skeptic. That in 10 years, the world will be grateful that we built this parallel system. 8 years ago, this fellow said in 10 years, we will be grateful that the world built this parallel financial system outside of the existing one. It hasn't quite been 10 years since, but his prediction is looking persistent as crypto starts to look more like an idea whose time has come with each passing day, okay? The last part is key because... While crypto may be inevitable, your favorite coin may actually be headed to zero. Not mine, maybe yours. The flip side of crypto becoming inevitable is that it's attracting greater competition and the pressure to deliver has never been higher. Only a few native players will become big winners, okay? That, my friends, is, I mean, dude, it's just so good. The crypto economy is not a single market maturing in unison, but a collection of products and businesses moving along different adoption curves. And perhaps more importantly, speculation doesn't disappear when a technology enters its growth phase. It just ebbs and flows with shifts in sentiment and the pace of innovation. Anyone telling you the speculative days are over is probably just jaded or doesn't understand history. It's reasonable to be skeptical, but don't be cynical. We are reimagining money, finance, and how our most important economic institutions are governed. It should be equally fun and exciting as it is challenging. Your job from here is to figure out how to best take advantage of this emerging reality, not write endless tweet threads on why it's all doomed. Because through the fog of this disillusionment and uncertainty lies the opportunity of a lifetime for those willing to bet on a new era's sunrise rather than mourn the old era's sunset. To light a candle is to cast a shadow. Nobody said it was going to be fucking easy, man. Nobody said it was going to be fucking easy, but everybody said it's going to fucking happen. And my friends, it is. It is. One team, one dream, baby. It's fucking happening. And if you can't see it, if you cannot see how this shift has happened where crypto has product market fit as internet money, if you can't see this shift right here, how the entire world on the internet is conforming to the downstream cultural effects of what crypto is, and if you cannot see how important what we have established, what we've built, what we have bootstrapped, within this culture, within this community, within our ability to make it outside of the fucking system on our own, in our own ways, with exotic, volatile financial instruments that the entire world, the entire financial system will be on their knees thanking us profusely for building, then this, my friends, might not be my friends, might not be the industry from you. If you cannot see how it's happening, this might not be the industry for you, and you should pack it up and you should fucking leave, my friends, because we are on the precipice, okay? And you could be bearish, and you could be sad, and you can think to yourself, oh my God, we've created $5 trillion in value, and we don't know what to do with it. This place fucking sucks. Or you can sit down and you can think to yourself that Hyperliquid did $100 million in revenue, the fastest company ever to reach $100 million in 89 days. And you can think to yourself, oh my God, we've created $5 trillion of economic value out of thin air, and we still don't even know what the fuck to do with it. Think about it. How beautiful is that? Think about it. How beautiful is that? Hey, I'm here to listen to the Quantum Bitcoin Guy, not here to listen to you. How can we fast forward? Huge ass 35. It is your lucky fucking day, because with that concludes our optimistic segment, and it is now time to hear from the Quantum Bitcoin Guy. Wow. Not my finest start to stream, but it was definitely my finest middle section of stream. I'll tell you that much right now. So here's what we're going to do. In approximately 37 seconds and some change, I will be bringing on Mr. Hunter, who is a core Bitcoin dev, and he is leading the charge with a Bitcoin quantum resistance proposal, aka BIP 360. He's going to tell us if it's real. He's going to tell us if we should be afraid. And most importantly, he's going to tell us how to participate and be part of potentially helping the future of Bitcoin. Wow, threadguy, how does he do it? I don't even know. I amaze myself too, guys. I don't even fucking know. I amaze myself too sometimes. It's an anomaly edge case that I can show up here and do it every single day. It's an anomaly edge case. How does he still have things to talk about? Crypto's so boring. How does he pull it off every single day? How does he stay so articulate and get his hair to look like that and just stay smooth and connected and go topic from topic and flip from thing to thing to thing and keep energy, then get off the call and bring this energy? I don't know. That's the brute realities. I don't fucking know, but I find a way. And at the end of the day, someone's got to fucking do it. Someone has got to share the vision and push the vision of programmable money to the fucking future. And if you won't do it, and if he won't do it, and if she won't do it, then who? If not me, then who? If not now, then when, my fellas? If not me, then who? And if not now, then when? And I need you to understand it's reasonable to be skeptical, but don't be cynical. We are reimagining money, finance, and how our most important economic institutions are governed. It should be equally fun and exciting as it is challenging. Your job from here is to figure out how to best take advantage of this emerging reality, not write endless tweet threads on why it's all doomed, okay? The opportunity lies of a lifetime for those willing to bet on a new era's sunrise rather than mourn an old era's sunset. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Need a little re-up, and then we will do our Bitcoin interview, my friend. BRB, thank you for listening, and I'll be right back. So that
should be like yeah. And then also, just a quick note, let's like at the fucker.
All right, let's fucking do it. Right now, right here, right now, I'm going to have a core Bitcoin dev come on the stream right now, and he can talk to us about the quantum threat. I'll keep him for as long as you want. Did I say 30 minutes? I'm gonna keep for as long as you want. If you get bored, let me know. But I think it's gonna be really engaging. This is important. This is a conversation we need to have, and somebody's got to do it. I haven't heard anyone else do this stream, so let us fucking do it. And we are going to start right here, right now. Yo, yo,
Hey,
Mr. Hunter, how are you, man? Welcome to the stream.
thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I've actually really been looking forward to this, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think over the last year, me and the stream have become pseudo Bitcoin maxis, and for the last 3 to 6 months, the only thing I've heard on my timeline is quantum computing, fear mongering, and Nick Carter tweet after Nick Carter article, and nobody could tell me what the fuck is going on. And so I looked around, I did a little research, and everywhere I looked, I was told that you, my friend, were the one that would enlighten us. So if you could start, and I really appreciate you being here, give us like a quick intro into who you are, what you do, and we could talk about what's going on in the quantum and Bitcoin field.
Yeah, sure. So, I've been working in Bitcoin for about full time for about 4 or 5 years now. Before that, I've been in Rust. I've been a Rust developer since 2018. You may have heard of the language. And before that, I was just kind of like a lowly web developer. I never really finished my college education because I got like a decent paying job, and I was like, like why should I pay people, when I could just get experience and doing what I was expecting to do anyway. But yeah, throughout my career, I worked on databases for a Silicon Valley startup called Influx Data. After that, I worked for Dish Network as a principal engineer before the pandemic. And then during the pandemic, that was really weird. I won't get into that. But after, well, kind of like, later on, I did start working more on like protocol engineering problems and distributed systems and applied cryptography and kind of all those like really important things for kind of what you need to know and understand to contribute to blockchain stuff. And I I was always kind of like with Bitcoin, I bought my first Bitcoin in 2017 for like $1,000,
Okay.
and I held it for 2 hours, and I sold it because it was too volatile.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, over time, I just kind of had a bunch of friends who would just be like, "Dude, you need to read the Bitcoin Standard. You need to study Bitcoin." And I was like, "All right, fine." And I eventually read the Bitcoin Standard in February of 2021, and that kind of really changed my perspective on a number of things. Um, like, for example, I came to realize that we basically based our entire economic system on the ideas of a pedophile,
Referring to who?
Keynes.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Lord John Maynard Keynes is?
Not really.
Like, you never heard of like Keynesian economics?
Not really, no. I mean, like, I've heard of it, but I don't really have context for this.
Okay, so oh, bro, so like you've heard of like fiat, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like the guy like kind of architected the whole system of like central banking is yeah, he would write to his friends about he liked to vacation in Tunisia because they had cheap bed and boy.
Dude, what? Stop.
Y-
What?
Oh, dude, this is like, oh yeah, it was bad. This is like early 1900s at the time. Later on,
Ooh, really?
19, oh yeah, and then 1913, of course, there was the Federal Reserve Act, and then a little later there was World War One. Central banking became a big thing. Keynes kind of architected the funding of like issuing war bonds that like more war bonds than people would actually buy. And
Okay.
so he kind of like cracked the um one second, I need to pause my notifications, do not disturb. And so he basically, yeah, I mean, like war and central banking is highly correlated throughout history. Of course, you know, like 1865, 64, that was like the Civil War was, there was a lot of central banking acts around that. And then, of course, you know, 1913, there was what they called the creature from Jekyll Island. And then, of course, you know, 1944, there was Bretton Woods,
Okay.
1971, the end of the Bitcoin, or end of
Gold
gold
standard.
standard,
Yeah.
right? The temporarily suspending convertibility, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and of course, Reagan famously said, "There's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program." um,
That's
but
funny. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
There's
oh
nothing more
yeah,
permanent than a temporary government program. That's good.
he's full. He was full of good
That's
stuff.
good.
Reagan also once said something like, uh, "The government will, if it's moving, it'll tax it. If it keeps moving, they'll regulate it, and if it stops moving, they'll subsidize it."
Wow. Okay.
Anyway,
Interesting.
yeah. So just to be clear, if you want to move the needle on Bitcoin, you have to understand three things. You have
Okay.
to understand the tech, you have to understand the economic ideas behind it, and then you have to understand the social component behind it as
Okay.
well. And those are all very like important things to understand if you ever want to make a contribution to Bitcoin.
Okay. Can you excuse my naivety here? I wasn't even really aware that there was an active developer community working on Bitcoin.
Buddy, so you might be going to the wrong conferences. There's like two kinds. So like there's, you know, of course like the big Bitcoin conference that everybody talks about. And then you know, like Michael Saylor and all that
Yeah.
stuff, right? Like number go up
Yeah.
and all that nonsense. And then there's like actual stuff that like where we talk about things of substance. There's like TabConf, the Atlanta it used to be the Atlanta Bitcoin conference, but it's TabConf. There's BTC++, Nifty Net. She
Uh-huh.
does really good stuff there. There's a lot of there's a surprising number of Bitcoin technical conferences in Europe. You know, there's Prague, there's Baltic Honey Badger in Latvia, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah. There's oh no, you know, Presidio Bitcoin, they put on good events. TabConf, High Signal. I mean, PubKey in New York has some good stuff. I'm a founder of the space in Denver. We have kind of like a network of Bitcoin Citadels, you know, the space. There's PubKey in New York and DC. There's Presidio Bitcoin in San Francisco. There's in Austin and also in Nashville. There's the Bitcoin Commons, or I think they're called. And so there's a number of like kind of like hubs where we all kind of aggregate. And yeah, there's definitely like a number of developers, and we all talk. We all know each other, and yeah, it's very tight
Okay,
knit.
so I don't know if this is like a controversial take, but the majority of my Bitcoin education has come from Michael Saylor.
Oh, okay.
Is that like how does the core Bitcoin community hates Michael Saylor? How does that work?
I have complicated feelings towards Michael Saylor. I mean, I like his perspective on, you know, historical. He's a history buff.
He is a history
You have
buff.
yeah, and I mean, it's true what they say. You know, if you don't understand history, you're doomed to repeat it, right? And so and that's why, you know, Bitcoin matters so much, is that it basically helps us prevent the cycle that ended all the other civilizations. I mean, arguably every other civilization ended because they ran out of money,
Wow.
or they were like conquered by like 90% of the indigenous people just died because like the European settlers that came over like
Uh-huh.
or yeah, well actually they weren't even settlers or colonists, they were just conquerors. The conquerors, when they first came, they 90% of the indigenous population just like flat out died because they brought diseases. And the reason the European conquerors brought diseases was because they lived in cities that were really dirty and they didn't understand germ theory at all. And so like they were basically they were bringing over a bioweapon like smallpox and that sort of stuff today, but they didn't know what it was or how it
Yeah,
worked.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
they
Gotcha,
just like
gotcha.
all these people are just mysteriously dying. It's really sad. But yeah, anyway.
Okay.
Um
Um. But okay, I want to get your take on this because you're one of the probably most technical Bitcoin people we've had on the stream. Like before I start asking about quantum, because I really want to ask about quantum, can you give me a take on how convicted you are in the importance of Bitcoin, like how important Bitcoin is for the world? Because I told you most of every morning when stream starts, the intro was like Michael Saylor. It's like, are you sitting on one chair? We do the whole like, are you all in on the chair? You look at one, you know, when you're using knives, do you have diamond knives, copper knives, wooden knives, aluminum, rubber band? You ever heard it before? It's like this incredible. The whole thing's like, is that conviction? And we listen to it every single morning. Are you all in the chair? So we listen to Michael Saylor all the time, but I've never really had like a proper Bitcoiner come on and really give me the like religious take on how convicted you are in Bitcoin. Like, can you give me that thesis real quick? Then we can talk about quantum computing.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, what I will tell you is that I think, so have you heard of hyper Bitcoinization?
Yeah, I've heard of the concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I heard it from is Murad for the first time on Anthony Pomp. You heard that interview before? You know Murad?
Cool. I know Pomp, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe. What I will say is I think hyper-Bitcoinization is a civilizational imperative. I think it's a great filter that if we don't pass it, we will perish.
wait, break that down.
Yeah, I've read about this on my Substack, actually. Bitcoin is a great filter, cryptoquick.substack.com. But essentially, I think that it's very possible that Bitcoin is either maybe some kind of alien technology that, or either was given to us or there was a star seed, something, I don't know, but somebody like put together the right pieces at the right time and then just completely vanished. And I mean, that would be a lot easier for an alien to do than anything, right? Anyway, I think that, yeah, I think it's like at a high level. Bitcoin is what I mean. Maybe that's just how they operate their society, and it's lasted them millions of years. It's worked pretty well.
Wait, lasted who millions of years?
Well, that's getting into speculation.
Give me like a little speculation just for fun.
Well, it's no secret that I'm interested in UFOs.
Okay. So you think
if
that Bitcoin has been like an alien, like monetary, like alien money for like millions of years?
It's possible. At least inspired by what they do. I'm not saying that like we're mining Galaxy Coin, like that's a different thing, right?
Okay.
Like I think in order to, so in the article I wrote, Bitcoin is a great filter. I kind of speculated that we would eventually start like creating well, first, so like, how like we do mining here on Earth, there's Kardashev type 1, so about Kardashev levels.
Not really.
Okay, so Kardashev levels are like basically like the amount of energy we're capable of harnessing.
Okay.
So yeah, like Kardashev type 1 civilization is capable of harnessing all the energy on their planet. Type 2 is all the energy of their star, and type 3 is all the energy of the universe. Or no, the galaxy. Galaxy.
Okay.
That's different.
Okay. I'm following.
Yeah. And I think that if it's true, so and also, are you familiar with like any of the ufology narratives around like say like the Galactic Federation of Worlds?
Zero.
Yeah. Well, do you know what like the whistleblowers like David Grush and Jake Barber?
I'm like vaguely high level aware.
Okay, yeah, there's some weird stuff going on there, but what I will say is I've gone down the rabbit hole too. It's actually a deeper rabbit hole than Bitcoin because like, okay, so for Bitcoin, like to really understand Bitcoin, you need to understand, like distributed systems, the tech side, and the tech side goes back maybe 50 years, like to like Leslie Lampert's ideas on distributed systems, Byzantine generals, and then you have what's his name, Koblitz, right? Like the guy who came up with the elliptic curve cryptography. You've got all those like really 1970s 1980s, all that stuff like carries forward. To understand like the why of Bitcoin, then you need to also understand Austrian economics, which runs counter to like the Keynesian model, right? And that Austrian economists are very intellectually rigorous thinkers. Like if you ever try to read Mises or Rothbard or Hayek, like, oh boy, it's like some like comparative advantage. You're like Cadillac, whoa, like all this weird, all this, and then you go and read Keynes, and it's actually really approachable to read Keynes, and he's like, he says stuff like the reason he thinks markets move is because of what he calls animal spirits, which I find to be like a very unsatisfying explanation. Like you know how like we talk about like the bull, the hawk, the
Okay.
dove, the bear, that kind of thing. Like that, all the animal spirits that goes back to Keynes, and it's all nonsense, really. Um, yeah. But the Austrians then like kind of like say like no, there's actually good reasons for why markets behave they do the way they do, and there's like they talk about like comparative advantage, you talk about of course just I mean Friedman would talk endlessly about supply and demand and just how capitalism is like the voluntary exchange of goods and services and stuff like that, and of course like Hayek would like rail against socialism because like he understood socialism very well from his own personal background, but also he basically proved that I think it was like in the 50s he published an essay called The Use of Knowledge in Society and basically just like deconstructed the idea of a command economy and how that doesn't work. And then in I don't know if you know much like Chinese history, but like they
Not
had
much.
the Cultural Revolution and the Great
Okay.
Leap Forward, like the horrors of that, like Maoism, the Little Red Book, all that nonsense where he like told you to like plant seeds 3 times closer together and then they'll just get that'll solve agriculture somehow, and it turns out just to attract birds and pestilence, and it's terrible. Anyway, all of Mao's terrible ideas, he was replaced by Deng Xiaoping. And Deng Xiaoping, he was known as a reformer. He instituted like his ideas came like inspired the special economic zones like Shenzhen and all that, right? And
Okay.
but also crucially, and this comes from a thinker called oh man, I always forget his name, Richard Werner. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay.
he's an
Sounds right.
economist. Oh yeah, so you know about Richard Werner?
I said it sounds right. I didn't say I know.
Okay. So Richard Werner, he came up with the idea of quantitative easing for the Bank of Japan in the 1990s.
Okay.
Yeah, and like he talks about like credit creation in ways that pretty clearly in ways that most central bankers kind of don't understand. Like a lot of economists and bankers don't really understand what they're talking about, and this if you like look at Austrian the school of economics, where they actually are very quite clear and rigorous about their thinking.
Okay.
And then you talk to central bankers and you ask them, well, okay, so I would ask them about like the role of credit creation and monetary expansion and things like that, and things that we think of as like stock to flow, right? Like it's a really important thing when you think about money, and like so if it's easily debased, then it's kind of worthless.
Okay.
Uh, and of course, credit creation is complicated for a number of reasons. But anyway, Richard Warner, the reason I remember Richard Warner is because he said that he thinks the primary reason that led to China's success, like the reason why they have like a middle class of like 400 million people, is because uh, Deng Xiaoping at maybe 1978 he made a fateful visit to Japan at the height of the economic miracle. And I'm sure you know about like how in Japan it was a powerhouse during the late 70s and early 80s,
Okay.
and yeah, and we're actually starting to get a little worried, like you even see it on like films from that time, like Back to the Future Part 2, where
Okay.
Marty McFly is like working for a Japanese boss, and we all just kind of thought, like and also he would say like there was like a scene in Back to the Future where he's like um the doc says, oh, this microchip, it's made in Japan, it must be, that's why it's so terrible, and he's like, doc, all the best stuff is made in Japan. Anyway, yeah, but what's interesting is Deng Xiaoping, he comes from like a country of like peasants, and he's going to Japan at the height of like they had the bullet train, they had Sony and all these like all this tech and cars and everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
booming, and they literally don't even have enough implements for their plows for the fields in Japan in China. And the advice he's given is he needs a bank in every village, which arguably I think had a greater impact than the special economic zones on sort of like empowering the more economically motivated and incentivized actors to take the information they have and apply it to the economy, to improving it, to building things, to entrepreneurship, and like enabling that with a bank in every village. I think is not only probably directly led to the rise of China's middle class, like 400 million people, just living very well. It also, conversely, uh, validates Hayek's theories of the use of knowledge in society, and how he says that command economies don't work because they're the top-down decision making it essentially doesn't have access to enough information to implement
okay.
an efficient solution to the economic problem. And the economic problem being, of course, the distribution of scarce goods and services, right? Like who gets to get what, right? The economic problem, like you can solve that in a number of different ways, but I think the best way, of course, is with free markets. But
Okay.
yeah.
That, that was incredible, dude. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to ask you one question about Bitcoin, and then I'll let you talk about quantum.
Okay.
Can you paint the picture for me of what the world and society as we know it looks like if hyper Bitcoinization accelerates and happens?
You ever watch Star Trek?
No.
You've never seen Star Trek.
I mean, I'm like aware of like I know what it is, but no, I've never actually sat down and watched Star Trek. No.
That's like our utopian future. Yeah. Like post scarcity. Like you need in order to achieve a post scarcity society where everybody has basically the equivalent of a universal high income. Everything needs to go to zero. Like all the price of everything that requires human inputs, you need to eliminate the human inputs and like basically like automate it.
I mean, the implications
And,
of that are pretty nuclear. Yeah.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. But dude, yeah. But also
Like, are
I
you
will
afraid of that? You just have enough Bitcoin. You're like, fuck it. I'll, pick up my ladder.
I have faith.
Okay. You have faith in yourself or in society?
I have faith in a higher power.
Okay. That's okay. Valid. What's your timeline on this?
Uh well, the one I always like to joke about with like quantum is I always say 2 years with a TM because like it's a joke. It's just like it's like kind of it's so it's like I don't know if you heard of, like the 2 weeks joke, right? Like in 2 weeks, like,
Okay.
okay. Every time somebody asks like 2 weeks, every somebody asks timeline for quantum, I say 2 years, and the reason why is kind of jokingly because I don't have a crystal ball, man. But what I will tell you is that it would be really nice if we could just be prepared enough in 2 years. That would be really nice because like
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
just I
I see
want
what
to
you
I
mean.
would like to stop worrying about it.
Okay. 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 So to ask you directly, then, how real is the fear mongering of quantum computing will destroy Bitcoin?
Well, the fear mongering, I mean, it's quite prevalent. You have to consider first, always consider things with like first principles and first principle thinking. One of the aspects of it is cui bono, right? Who benefits?
Okay.
And so, who benefits from the quantum FUD?
I don't know, well, people investing in quantum for one.
Yeah, VCs. Yep, that's one
Yeah.
part of it. Yep.
And
Another
then
part,
people
of
that are
course,
bearish
is
on the industry, probably people that don't own Bitcoin, people that are short the market, bears, etc.
sure. Yep, and also spooks.
Okay. When you say spook, what do you mean? Just like doomers?
No, I mean like the NSA and the PLA.
Oh, explain that to me. I wouldn't have guessed that. Explain
So
that.
the National Security Agency, right? They hire all the best cryptographers, and
Uh-huh.
and then they also in 2013, Edward Snowden, he leaked the existence of a program
Uh-huh.
called Penetrating Hard Targets, where
Okay.
they had been spending $80 million just in that one year back in 2013 on a program to break public key cryptography using quantum computers.
I've seen the Snowden movie. That's an incredible one.
Yeah, they didn't touch on that.
Okay, so explain this motive. Like, explain the motive, what they would get out of it, and how, like, who's behind it.
Well,
Exactly.
the NSA is run by a bunch of like, I mean, Alex Jones calls them control freaks. Like these people who think they can control everything, they can influence everything, they have privileged access to information that nobody else has, and so there's probably some like deep state cabal that's like all about just spook shit. Like you've heard of InQtel, right?
No,
Like
no, no, no.
InQtel is the
Thank you,
sort of
tell.
like what they call the private arm of the CIA. It's like,
Okay.
like they invest in private companies. They have like $100 million a year budget for investing in various companies startups that are working on technology that is useful to the CIA. And they've traditionally invested in quantum computing startups in the past. And it's all public information. But well, some of it is. And also, they claim to have like a value of maybe $1 billion, but that's also probably not right because, like, I mean, if they were founded, I think, in 2010 maybe, so they've been at this like 15, 16 years, and they're only worth $1 billion. Sure. Anyway, yeah, it can tell us like how the CIA invests in startups that help them basically, and they have in the past invested in quantum computing, and also I'm aware that Honeywell used to have a company. Now it's called Quantinuum. They're a defense contractor. They work with the NSA, and also there was Raytheon. That's another defense contractor.
I've heard of Raytheon.
Yeah, and they've been working on this for probably 2 decades at least. And they've been pouring billions into basically making this spooky magical technology that essentially breaks the cryptography that secures pretty much most modern systems today.
So if you break the
And
cryptography, what happens?
well, we call it Q Day.
Q-Day.
Yeah, and that there's a lot that goes on in that. I mean, first of all, the one of the problems is like if a quantum computer breaks somebody's existing keys, you kind of can't know or tell that like that was it looks the same as if the user themselves had moved it. So the only way to really prove that they actually were able to really like could it actually happen in a provable way is you need to actually have to run a special script. So another thing is Bitcoin has a I don't know if it let's make sure you have some Bitcoin fundamentals first.
Okay.
So um first of all, do you know what a UTXO is?
Explain it
That's important.
for the chat. For the chat.
Yeah, yeah, sure. The EVM, Ethereum, right? That's accounts based. Whereas like Bitcoin and like anything based off of Bitcoin, like Litecoin, Doge, and like a bunch of others, and also whatever the heck Charles Hoskinson's working on.
Cardano, Zcash.
Uh, I think Zcash might also be, yeah. Anyway, uh, let's so UTXO's based is a different paradigm than accounts based. So accounts based models, like a smart contract, a Solidity smart contract is going to have like like think of it as like we call it a mapping, but a mapping can also be kind of visualized as a spreadsheet. So you have like accounts. So the account would be like, your 0x whatever, right? Hexadecimal,
Okay.
between 0 and F, right? And then you'd have a mapping between that and the contract. Well, actually, no, the contract doesn't have its own address. It's well, but there's a mapping between accounts and balances consider like an ERC20 contract, right? Fungible token contract, and so that has a mapping between accounts and balances. And in order to send money, send an ERC20 token from one to another account, so transferring, right? You would essentially prepare a transaction that creates a state transition that subtracts from one account and adds to the balance of another account. And what's interesting about that is that opens yourself up to all sorts of what we call MEV, minor extractive value, or whatever.
I'm familiar with MEV. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just because of because you can order transactions, you can kind of front run people who because it's a subtracting from one account and adding to another. All you have to do is just front run that. If you're allowed to order the transaction as you wish, as a miner is capable of, or a staking validator, I don't know, but proof of all that stuff. But yeah. Anyway, that's how that works, right? Like the contract is like a spreadsheet. Whereas, and it can be manipulated because like you can order the transactions and it affects the outcome of sort of like the availability or liquidity or something. I don't know. But anyway, in Bitcoin, it's a completely different paradigm. And so it's like I would say like the account space is almost like the naive approach. Like if you weren't really thinking like um like somebody who might be a star seed from the Galactic Federation of Worlds, if you're not thinking like that, then you're going to just come up with a spreadsheet. But if you're like part of the Envoy program, or the aliens, they like to kind of help us increase our spiritual awareness and our density and that sort of thing. The people will be born and they'll have like kind of inspiration or memories kind of tied to what they, if you're thinking like that, you have Satoshi as either a starseed or envoy or whatever, or even actually just an alien sitting on his UFO and just emailing his from his GMX address to the cryptography mailing list in 2008. Regardless, if you're thinking like not like somebody who's been using computer programs all their life, you're going to come up with a more interesting model, more flexible model, and that's the UTXO's model. So UTXO, the way it works, UTXO, first of all, stands for unspent transaction output.
Unspent transaction.
And so the thing to understand about how Bitcoin's like model of how it sort of works is essentially like, think of a UTXO. So first of all, Bitcoin is a system of monetary inputs and outputs, and inputs will have signatures, and then outputs will have addresses. Let's just call them addresses. And the output contains the balance of basically like how much satoshis you have in there. Sats being, of course, 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin, right? It's the bit. You okay, buddy?
I don't know.
Totally fine.
My bad.
Man.
You're good. Sorry about that. Genuinely sorry. Keep going.
Okay, dude, how awkward would it have been, if you just like I would have been like, what can I do?
No. What if I just like drop dead?
That would have been so awkward, man.
If I just like joking on the floor. Please keep going though. Please keep going.
Well, that also I think is confirmation of the anthropic principle. If you ever look into that, we could put a pin on that. Discuss we should definitely talk about the anthropic principle because that's fascinating. But anyway, UTXOs. So we talked about accounts and how it's like a big spreadsheet. UTXOs is think of it as like digital piles of money. You know how like gold is like physical Bitcoin. Yeah, it's like and that's why digital gold. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I mean, there's a lot there. When we're calling it Q Day, right? Which is when quantum can crack the cryptography as we know it.
Yeah.
How would we know when that happens? And do you think it's already happened? Like there was some speculation, all these OG Bitcoin whales that haven't sold any crypto or just like dumping hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin. Do you think it's already happened?
Well, the problem with that question is like it comes to a question of like, do quantum computers currently exist that are capable of threatening Bitcoin? And the most intellectually honest way I can answer that is not going to be very useful to you. It's just going to be all I can say is there's a possibility that there might already exist, but they're being kept secret. And there's also a possibility that we may never be able to crack this technology.
Oh, and so it might not be possible. You don't think
I'm intellectually honest enough to allow for that possibility. I think it's remote, but I mean, it's also I can't prove it. I can't prove that it's not impossible.
Interesting. And so you don't think it currently exists right now?
Well, okay. So as I was saying before, like they might currently exist. They're just being kept secret. What we do know is that what the commercial roadmaps of these various companies are telling us and what they're fielding, what they're allowing us to use. I mean, you can actually use a quantum computer if you want. All you have to do is sign up for like IBM's like quantum as a service type stuff. They'll learn something called Qiskit with a Q, and that's in Python. And you can just kind of program a quantum circuit. You can program shores. You can factor maybe 15 or 21 if you wanted.
So,
for free.
This is, I guess, to even go backwards here, we're gonna just open up a fucking can of worms. But maybe this, I'll preface by saying maybe the simplest you could explain it again for the keeping in mind the audience that's listening to this. Not to call anybody out. I'm just being honest. Can you explain like what quantum computing is, how it's different from what currently exists,
That
and
that is a very good question. Let's start with that.
cool.
Yeah. So quantum computers were theorized in the 1980s by Richard Feynman. He basically he's a famous physicist and he a quantum physicist, and he you might have heard of like Feynman diagrams, right? And the thing is, like he pointed out, was essentially that it would be really cool if we could make computers that could make use of quantum physical phenomenon like constructive interference to perform computation and optimize it.
Okay.
And then in the 90s, Peter Shor took those ideas and he was like, "Oh wow, maybe we could actually make use of constructive interference to essentially,
Constructive interference.
yeah." So like basically, it's all about waves, right? Waves
Okay.
and in quantum mechanics, we talk about like collapse of the wave function, like the wave. There's something there. There's an entangled system has like you built. Oh boy. So okay, so let me just stay on Shor's. So Shor's algorithm basically is the first known algorithm to perform to be theorized to demonstrate quantum advantage or quantum supremacy, and
Okay. Okay.
basically it optimizes the So it's basically a way to find patterns in numbers,
Okay. Okay.
and the way it finds those patterns is it basically creates it turns the numbers into waves, and it makes it performs a calculation in such a way that it's able to isolate the right answer by making them constructively interfere with the phase of the wave,
Okay.
construct like coincides enough so that the right answer becomes very obvious and the wrong answer becomes very improbable for it to collapse into. And when you measure the quantum circuit and its state from the entangled qubits, when you measure that, that collapses the wave function, or maybe it breaks out into a different universe if you're a fan of the Everettian theory of many worlds. Regardless, and by
Whoa.
the way, many worlds are not necessary to describe the function of a quantum computer, technically speaking. But regardless, um, uh, like we are heading into like we're treading in very complicated topics here, but I'm just going to try to keep a high level. There's
Uh-huh.
so many asterisks behind everything I'm
No, I
saying.
know
It's
it's great. You're doing great though. You're doing great. Genuinely.
thanks. Yeah. So anyway, quantum computers can make use of fundamental physical phenomena like quantum mechanics to do what's like one of the things it can do is a quantum Fourier transform, and a Fourier transform is basically how pretty much all our modern communication technology works.
Mhm.
Like your cell phone has a cellular baseband that does a fast Fourier transform, and that's how you're able to isolate signal from noise.
Okay.
It allows you to sort of like crunch the numbers and isolate signal from noise or find patterns and reveal something deeper from like what you would ordinarily think of as just noise. And
Okay.
this is an important aspect of pretty much all wireless communication technology. I mean, like except for like I mean, unless you're using a spark gap transmitter like the Titanic had. After the spark gap, we started doing things like we needed a crystal, and the crystal would essentially help maybe like basically isolate like the noise from the or the signal from the noise, and going from the crystal to like modern MIMO, what do you call it, OFDMA, right?
Mhm.
Like style 5G.
Okay.
We
Okay.
could just call it 5G. But all that comes from like basically the idea that like we need ways to isolate signal from noise, and Fourier's transform basically transform that. Fourier transform also was like a big deal back when it came out because it's how we like kind of isolated X-ray crystallography and how we figured out the structure of DNA in the 1950s with Watson and Crick, right? They actually had like uh, yeah. Anyway, quantum computers essentially are able to harness fundamental quantum mechanical phenomenon like physics in our universe to their advantage in ways that like basically in certain problems vastly outperform classical computers, and they're probabilistic in nature. So they're kind of like how, like, AI models in inference, right? It's what they inference is like, they call it a probabilistic autoregressive next token prediction, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so like, because how, like, when you prompt an AI
Yeah,
model,
yeah,
it
yeah.
could, like,
It's like guessing the next word, right?
yeah, guessing the next word, and also, or the token, right? And also
Token, yeah.
it's probabilistic. But the thing is, we're told it's probabilistic, but it's actually deterministic. It's just the seed is randomized.
Okay.
It's sort of pseudo random.
Okay.
Classical computers are actually really terrible at probabilistic operation. They're usually very naturally deterministic, unless there's something very wrong if it's not. So in order to, like, introduce randomness to, like, a classical computer, like that we're commonly used to, you need, like, extrinsic, timing keystrokes on your keyboard, or noise, or like thermals. Like, you try to, like, like spikes, and stuff like that. Like, your computer tries to, like, derive entropy from multiple different sources, because classical computers are very deterministic. They don't need, like, they're very, like, they do the same thing over and over, and that's how they're expected to work. The thing is, with AI inference, training's kind of different, but inference definitely is, uh, it would benefit a great deal from quantum machine learning, because they're both probabilistic. And the thing is, like with Shor's algorithm or quantum machine learning, if you don't get a good answer the first time, you just ask again. It's probabilistic. Shor's algorithm, actually only gives you maybe about a 50% chance of guessing the right answer, and that's if you have a really good quantum computer,
Okay. Okay.
like fully fault tolerant, and has plenty of qubits and all this, right? Like what they call a logical qubit instead of just a physical qubit. We don't have anything close to that. What we have are what we call maybe noisy intermediate scale quantum computers.
Okay.
Those are way different. And that said, though, NASQs, like, they're definitely, like, primitive, but there is a possibility that they could maybe be elevated to a cryptographically relevant quantum computer,
Okay.
which is a third category. I first mentioned fault-tolerant quantum computers. There's, like, perfect quantum computers, ideal tech. Noisy intermediate scale quantum computers are basically what we have now. And then you have the cryptographically relevant quantum computer, which is somewhere in between.
Okay. Okay.
And, like, and you can kind of, like, accelerate certain aspects of it by, like, post processing with GPU accelerators. It's one reason why I was really concerned when IBM and AMD started, like, a deal, right? Because, like, IBM has the quantum computers, AMD has the accelerators, and yeah, that's that. I
Okay.
think it's still, yeah.
Can I ask you an off-topic question and bring it back to Bitcoin?
Totally fun, yeah.
Do you think the spooks are listening to this right now?
Um, I don't know. And I also don't care. I don't fear the state.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
I don't know. I just, like, since you said it, I've been thinking about it.
Yeah,
Just like
I
vaguely thinking about it, not like fearfully, but it's like been in my head a little bit as you're talking.
yeah. I mean, that's that's unfortunate. Because, like, I mean, obviously, like, privacy is really important for being able to be able to express your honest and genuine thoughts. And if you're worried about being watched by the state, that's sad. What I can say is, privacy is a commodity, and it's very valuable, and it's a shame that we're run by these control freak
Okay,
deep
then
state
double
spooks.
side note, real quick, and then bring it back to Bitcoin. From that perspective, are you a believer in private money, Zcash, Monero, these crypto tokens that are private in nature?
I believe that privacy is a right. That said, and encryption is not a crime. That said, especially, like, when we're talking about, like, the quantum context, I'm really reticent to recommend either Zcash or Monero, because both of them are based on elliptic
Okay.
curve cryptography, which is vulnerable to quantum computers.
Okay, so then that brings us to the main question here is I guess it's gonna be two-part. I'll ask you the first part, but I'll say both. One is gonna be what happens to Bitcoin if we don't do anything about the quantum fear, and then second would be what can we do about the quantum fear. But first, I want to ask you what happens to Bitcoin if we just do nothing and quantum accelerates the way that you think it can.
I mean, there might be some turmoil in capital markets. MicroStrategy might bring down the economy or something, but um, I'm of the opinion that it'll essentially result in supply inflation. Like the markets will react very negatively to it. But that said, I think the inflation will be transitory, to use a Turner phrase. I think that ultimately Bitcoin is anti-fragile. Two-thirds of the supply, first of all, two-thirds of the Bitcoin out there. So there's been almost 20 million mined,
Mm-hmm.
of the 21 million, right? Like the next million, it's going to take us to 2140 to mine because of the
2140,
halving dynamic. Yeah, but the vast majority of Bitcoin is already mined. There's about almost a 20 million in supply, and that of that 20 million, only 6 or so million are have exposed public keys, which makes those coins vulnerable to quantum computers. And most of those will probably move to safer addresses that do not have exposed public
So what do you mean
keys.
by exposed public keys? Like, what? How would you not have an exposed public key?
When it's hashed.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, so like you have a hash commitment in the script for the address. That's the that's in the output
So what you're
for the
saying is
secret
there's
public key.
only 6 million of this Bitcoin that could even potentially be exposed to the quantum fear, and then of those 6 million, we're assuming they're active, and so if there was some sort of upgrade, that they could be protected.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. But there is technically 1.7 million P2PK coins spread out across 34,000 different addresses with an average balance of 50 Bitcoin each. And 50 Bitcoin is because that was the original block reward in 2009 from 2009 to right January 3rd, 2009 to probably like 2013, 2012, 2013.
Okay.
So around there.
And so, what do we do with the Satoshi tokens?
That's a great question. So the Satoshi coins, those are in P2PK addresses. Oh, also, by the way, P2PK is a key. It's a key. So it's an actual public key that was essentially used. It wasn't usually used for receiving payments. Those are like the one addresses. Those are P2PKH. Those are hashed public keys. But what's really weird is that, and you want to pay attention to this, in the original version of Bitcoin, they didn't call it Bitcoin Core back then. It was just called either Bitcoin or the Bitcoin client. Um, in the original 0.1 that Satoshi released, he did have P2 public key hash addresses, and then he had P2PK outputs.
Okay.
And P2PK is just an exposed public key, and he made it so that when you went to mine Bitcoin back then, by default, the rewards would go to a public key, which is
Why?
interesting. Well, that's a good question because what it does essentially is it makes it so that those original public key coins could be, found for like you could get
They're
you could get.
susceptible, right, to the quantum. Like, so any Bitcoin that was mined is susceptible to this quantum.
I mean, provided you have a powerful enough quantum computer, and
But
also just to be
like
clear,
theoretically, yes. Like assuming you had the quantum computer and it was
assuming
possible.
it had a good enough quantum, yes. But also another thing is quantum computers, they cost billions of dollars to develop and make and build, and then millions of dollars to operate because they have like two different kinds of cryogenic coolants. They have to be cooled as close to absolute, like colder than deep space, actually. And they use liquid nitrogen and liquid helium for that. Yeah.
So if someone is to crack quantum computing like fully,
Mhm.
at Q day, or someone
Mhm.
is to crack Q day, is that a
Yeah.
proper way to phrase it?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
If someone's to get to reach Q day, like who is it gonna be? What would they do with it? And then how long would it be until the next person and the next person and the next person is able to do it? Like I know there's extreme financial and like technological constraints.
Well, uh, I mean, again, I don't have a crystal ball, but like one scenario could be that PsiQuantum. I talked to
What
the
does that mean? What
CEO
does
of
that mean?
PsiQuantum.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a company.
Okay,
That's
okay.
a startup,
Sorry.
man. I talked to the CEO at. I have to first of all I have to commend him for coming into the belly of the beast and talking to actually like Bitcoin developers at Presidio Bitcoin in last year. I think his name was Terry. I actually just asked him straight up like, "Hey, bro, like, are you going to use your stuff
Tell you
to?"
to fuck us.
Yeah, and he was like, "Nah, nah, nah." And I was like, I pressed him on it, and he said, "Well, I mean, it wouldn't do us any good because we have government contracts, and we'd be worried about breaking on those government contracts." And I was like, "Oh, okay, okay." And I walked away, and then I realized it hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized, wait, what if the government paid him to attack Bitcoin? He would totally do it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. So there's no way to like prepare for that. So okay, so then my follow up is what has to
Oh,
happen?
there are ways to prepare for that.
Okay,
by the
so
way.
what has to happen to I was to happen to Bitcoin for this to just go away and to not think about quantum fear anymore? Like what upgrade? Like what's technologically possible to protect Bitcoin from the quantum fear? Where we can, especially on our like, I'm not actively working on Bitcoin, where I can not think about it and have to like not cover it on stream.
Okay, well, okay. There's a lot. There's a lot of ways to answer that. First of all, what you could do as an individual is, first of all, so let me go through the four different ways in which a public key can be exposed in the general like operation and use of Bitcoin. Five actually. Let's say five. Okay, so the first number one is the first way is P2PK. So that's
Okay.
like the original, and they're ancient, they're very old. No modern software uses P2PK. But if you're using P2PK, if you have really old coins, those are vulnerable. P2PKH is not, and so P2PK. The way you determine whether you have P2PK or PK or not, we actually have a really handy table in BIP360. By the way, if you can actually find it at BIP360.org. We have a handy table that kind of like lets you kind of visually distinguish between the address and
BIP 360, which you're working on, yeah.
yeah, I'm the author of BIP360, and so co-author now, but I'm also the original author. So um, so basically, P2PK is no good. Anything with a hash ends at P2PK H is good. That's fine. We know that hashes are quantum resistant. They're not like quantum secure. They're not like fully, protected, because there's another algorithm called Grover's algorithm. I mentioned Shor's algorithm earlier as like an example of quantum circuit. Grover's algorithm is for hashes, but it's really not good for hashes. All it'll do is it'll take a 256-bit hash and turn it into like 128 bits hard, which is still quite hard. Like 120 bits is like the number of atoms in the Earth. And whereas like 256 bits is more like the number of atoms in the visible universe. And so yeah, just give you a sense of scale.
Okay.
No, they're both arguably
Yeah.
absurdly huge numbers. And so this first way is just P2PK. Avoid those. Second way is reused addresses. So basically, address reuse is when you have an address that's hashed and like a modern like BC1Q address, say, and you receive coins to it, and then you spend from it. And when you spend from it, when you spend your Bitcoin, when you spend some coins or Sats or whatever on chain on L1, whenever you do that, you're basically signing. You're creating a signature up against your public key, right? And you have to reveal both your public key and your signature, and then the public key is matched against the hash that is in the address. So it's a hash public key. And so you match the public key against the hash commitment and the script hub key, also known as the output, and the UTXO and the unspent transaction output. That's how an address works, right? And you basically you take that public key and then you create a signature that basically proves that you know the private key to that corresponds to that public key, and you don't reveal the private key. It's not like a what they call a message authentication code. It's a signature. So a signature allows you to take a private key, sign a message, a hash, and then prove that you know the private key to that public key, and you can validate that cryptographically. Now, the problem is when you go to sign that message again, when you the problem is when you sign that message and you broadcast it to spend your coins, you have to reveal your public key that corresponds to that address and those coins.
Got it.
And so then you're vulnerable to, there's two classes of attack. There's the long exposure attack, also known as a long range attack. I like to call it long exposure attack because I think it's more accurate. And then a short exposure attack. And so long exposure attack is when the key is available on chain for years, right? Like Satoshi's coins, right? Those are vulnerable to long exposure attacks. Quantum computers have all the time in the world to work over those. Whereas a short exposure attack requires a much more powerful quantum computer. It does not have all the time in the world. There's a time limit. Could be 10 minutes, could be 1 minute, could be 2 hours, could be weeks, depending on like what fee rate you set. So yeah, that's kind of the threat model, right? Now I talked about two of the five different ways public keys can be exposed on chain. There's P2PK, there's address reuse, Another one is pay to Taproot. So Taproot addresses, you might have heard of Taproot.
Mhm.
It's like kind of like a big deal, like Taproot wizards
Of
and
course, Udi's my
ordinals and
guy.
inscriptions. And, what's that?
I said Udi is my guy. I
I
love
love
Taproot
Udi.
Wizards.
Udi is great. Udi and
Okay, I
Eric.
know he's like a controversial topic amongst the Bitcoiners.
You know what's so funny? I am so tired of being a hater on other Bitcoiners who share our values, share like we agree on enough that like first of all, I mean if you can agree on just this one point that we need to separate money from state.
Mhm.
We need to make it so that central banks cannot unilaterally debase the currency. We need to use a better money, a stronger money that isn't broken, right?
Mhm.
If we can agree on just that, I
Then
think we have enough common ground that we
cool.
can, talk about anything else. And yeah, I mean, if you look, I see both sides of it. I really do. I'm friends with Udi and Eric. I'm friends with Giacomo
What
Zucco
about Luke
and
Dash?
Luke Dash Jr. I I respect his work. Uh, and I'll just be diplomatic about that because that's the Christian thing to do. And
Okay.
yeah,
I didn't mean to
but
derail you though. If you
but
want
but I'm actually quite friendly with like Bitcoin Mechanic. He's come to the space in Denver and given a talk, and I was very complimentary of his
Cool.
work on Datum. Look, I'm not here to make enemies. I'm here to solve a problem if it needs to be solved.
Cool.
And you're not going to be able. Look, I'll tell you what. You're not going to be able to uh, move the needle on a soft fork on any, and basically help improve the situation on a consensus level if you're always constantly yelling at each other and making enemies. And also it's just mentally exhausting. It's just not like yeah. Anyway, so I love Hootie, I love Eric, and Rindell and all the Taproot wizards, and
So
I love those
is
guys.
this soft fork going to be the proposal of what you think is going to save Bitcoin?
Whew, that's the loaded question. Like what I can say is BIP 360 is a very specific proposal that fixes a small aspect of Bitcoin's like threat model. That is, taproot addresses are essentially a public key,
Okay.
and that's like the address itself. The minute you send money to it, you've already exposed the public key.
I got it.
And so that's, I think, a
And this would
big
protect
problem.
against that. This would stop that from happening.
Yes, it would take the elliptic curve cryptography out of taproot address generation, and
Therefore,
instead
protecting, like hiding your keys when money is sent to you.
uh,
Hiding your public address.
yeah, that's one way. It's hiding the keys, the public keys for your address. Yeah, it's like a hash, but it still takes advantage of other things that Taproot gives us. So Taproot, it's at least 3 bips. There's like bip 341, 342, and 340, 341, 342, and then there's also BIP 86, and there's a bunch of others actually related to Taproot, like output script descriptors and all that stuff. But regardless, Taproot, those 3 bips, 340, 341, 342, they go over different specifications for different aspects of Taproot. One of them is, of course, the introduction of Schnorr signatures. Another one kind of explains like, what they call SegWit V1 spending rules, which is actually an important distinction. So I mean, to move the needle on Bitcoin, you have to understand a lot because it is quite the rabbit hole. It's been around for a while. There's a lot there, and a lot of thought has been put into it, a lot of work. And anyway, one of those things that you need to also understand is just the soft forks that have happened in the past. SegWit being like one of the more notable ones. Then there was Taproot, and then there was nothing. And so,
Can I ask you a question?
Mhm.
How many people in the world, I mean, there's no weird way to know, but how many people in the world do you think actually understand the threat level of quantum on Bitcoin and have any sort of idea of how to like conceptualize it? Because everyone on Twitter is like posting quantum Bitcoin, but I'm curious like how many people are actually worth listening to when it comes to stuff. Like, should I be listening to Nick Carter when it comes to this?
I like Nick Carter a lot. We actually met. He specifically asked to meet with the BIP 360 team in Miami.
So
Yeah.
he's really tapped into this shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. he is he knows a lot more than he lets on. He the thing is like the English language is so lossy and it's difficult to complete like deliver complete thoughts that are fully like you basically need to like write a novel every when you're talking about some of these things to like, just make sure you have like the
The
groundwork to
full, yeah.
understand them and then all that, right? So there's that. But like and of course like the problem with that lossiness, the problem with that lossiness essentially is that when you don't provide the complete picture to someone, they fill in with their own
The
personal
blank space.
assumptions
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
biases. And so when people read Nick Carter's thoughts, they fill in, oh, he's just like fudding, he's doing this and that, I mean, he used to even like, by the way, the quantum FUD has followed Bitcoin since 2012, like if
Really?
at all. Oh yeah. Yeah, if you look on the Bitcoin talk forums,
Are you more
December
afraid
20,
of it now than you were in 2012?
well, I back in 2012, I thought Bitcoin was just
Yeah,
like
you
a
bought your
very
first Bitcoin in
inefficient
2017.
database.
Are you more afraid of it now than you were when you got pilled?
I didn't think about the quantum threat at all until I would say like I didn't start taking it seriously about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you think the level of threat with quantum is a scenario where it's like Bitcoin is unownable until we have a clear path forward for this to be solved? Or do you think this is just going to be solved one way or another? Even in the scenario where 6 million coins are vulnerable, Bitcoin is just so good of an asset, it doesn't even fucking matter.
The thing I like to say to people who sell their Bitcoin because of quantum FUD is, and I can say this because I'm a gay man, I'm married to a gay man, and I can tell you that that is fag behavior.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to stop you from using that.
Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
won't.
This is a Twitch screen. I'm so sorry,
It's
but like,
Twitch in GTA, of course.
yeah. But I will just say, look, that's low T thinking. That's
Okay.
like, yeah. Yeah, anybody who understands this will tell you that. In fact, I think a really good thing for your viewers to read is a very recent publication by Eric Yakes for Epoch, and he's a VC. He's also based out of Denver, out of the space. And I'm a founding member. He's a founding member. Eric Yakes, great guy. Also wrote a great book called The Seventh Property,
Okay.
and anyway, and by the way, since we're shilling space members, also Tyler Stevens, he's kind of the founder of the heat punk movement. They're going to have a great conference next month. Actually, it's coming up. Heat punk, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be really cool because like heat punks are just so cool. Like they're like, you know what? I don't care about the price of Bitcoin.
Uh-huh.
I just need heat, and I would ordinarily run an electric resistive heater, and I just run a modified S9 with some fans on it. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
and that's what members do, by the way. We just kind of go out and like shill each other's stuff, and
Okay.
so as a
Um.
courtesy.
Okay. Here's what I want to do with you, Mr. Hunter. 'Cause I don't want to keep you too long. You've been here for a while, giving us good stuff.
Buddy, I could talk about Bitcoin all day long. I don't know if you know this.
I know. I believe you. Here's what I want to do: is I want to give you
It's my
like
favorite thing.
I want to give you a big question as sort of like
Okay.
a wrap to
Yeah.
like bring it back, and then I'm gonna ask you for some stuff to read. And we do a lot of reading on the stream. It's become like a very reading heavy stream. A lot of reading, a lot of research. Can you just like sign off? Okay, just to preface, most like the majority of people in this chat, or maybe half, don't own any. Actually, chat, answer me right now. Who here owns more than $100 Bitcoin? Yes or no? I would imagine maybe half does, half doesn't. A lot of people here are here for Solana. They're here for the meme coin stuff. There's a lot of people that don't really fully intersect with Bitcoin. I'm gonna be honest, Mr. Hunter. I didn't own $1 Bitcoin until 2024, and I came into crypto in 2020. So like it took me 4 years to buy my first dollar of Bitcoin. Can you conclude with us on, from like a hardcore Bitcoiner's perspective, the importance of Bitcoin and how significant it will be to the world over the next decade, the next 100 years, and then maybe wrap with if you're concerned about quantum, what you can do as an individual to support this fear?
Okay, well, let me just tell you, if you're worried about quantum, avoid Taproot. Don't expose your public keys at all. Xpubs, no. Just keep it. Do your best to keep it, and just follow the beaten path of a native SegWit BC1Q address. If it starts with BC1P, that's no good. BC1P taproot with a P. BC1Q SegWit with a Q, or SegWit, right? SegWit native Seg BC1Q hashed addresses, pay to witness public key hash. That is the ideal. If you actually want to go a little further, you could do a script hash with multi-sig, but that's more complicated and a little bit more risky because you need to keep track of your wallet descriptor, and the descriptor includes the extended public keys, which can be used to derive the public keys for all your addresses. So you need to be really fucking careful with that, because first of all, we want to make a lot of copies because you can't lose it, but also you don't want those copies to ever be exposed. And
lost.
so so really, just to keep it simple, use a hardware wallet. Like I like the Foundation line of wallets. They have now, I think, a Prime now that has actually used post quantum cryptography to secure it. Communications. So I think that I'm very bullish on Foundation. Yeah. Anyway, so and use a discount code low time pref if you want.
How much you get paid? How much you get paid on every sale?
Like $5. I don't know,
Okay.
but yeah, just help people out if they want to,
Okay.
I don't make much, but it's just as a courtesy. Anyway, so yeah, but I think that so okay, so how do you protect yourself? That I think that's a good answer.
Yeah, it's great.
What was the question before that?
Final question is like, set the stage, leave us with the importance of Bitcoin over the next 10, 100 years and why it's going to succeed no matter what. Maybe a price target at the end.
Well, I mean, you understand that, like, if hyper big Bitcoinization happens, the price in dollars is like practically infinite. Like we go to, like, the dollar goes to Zimbabwe money, like $100 trillion USD, right?
Oh my God.
Per Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You don't know enough Bitcoin. That's safe to say. That's it. I'm really sorry to say I lost all of my Bitcoin in a tragic boating accident, and so I had to start over. And so when my paycheck lands today, I might buy some Bitcoin. I don't know, but it's a good time to buy. And you're still early, like 2024 still early, 2026 still early. I mean, there are bankers in Davos right now that think that there's an issuer of Bitcoin, like so.
So give me this take, like everyone right now in crypto, like, look, we sit objectively on a little bit of a different sphere. We have some overlap, and then we go far out on the curve both directions. Most people on my side of crypto Twitter in particular are like losing their mind right now. It's like, I thought we were digital gold and gold's at all-time high. Bitcoin looks like shit. I thought we were like leverage on tech stocks, and S&P's at all-time high, Nvidia's at all-time high. Bitcoin's not doing anything. There's a lot of people that are sort of frustration, rage quitting. And so, yeah, just give us the, like, why it's honestly as long-tailed as you want. Why is the Bitcoin as money and just Bitcoin's importance going to be inevitable no matter what happens from here?
There's a lot of ways you could frame it. Like for one, I mean, like, so you will of Donald Trump. I mean, I'm actually a big fan of Donald Trump, but that said, he did kind of lock us into like $20 trillion of additional debt for the next decade with the One Big Beautiful Bill. And I mean, like, if we're spending $2 trillion more than we have, that's new money coming into existence, and that's highly inflationary. And so, what's interesting is, like, so $2 trillion more than we're taking in taxes. So it's not a balanced budget; it's deficit spending. $2 trillion. What sucks is that $1 trillion of that is going to interest payments on our $38.5 trillion worth of debt. Mm-hmm. At which point you're like, okay, so we're paying debt with more debt. And we're talking about the unfunded liabilities looming on the horizon. I mean, like, Social Security is going to be probably insolvent by 2035 if we do nothing. And I mean, we've also talked. I mean, Social Security insolvency has been a political football for pretty much all my life. But that said, I mean, it might be a problem. There's also, in an effort to be intellectually honest, which I always like to be, because I want to be fair, and Grok likes to say, maximally truth seeking, right? And by the way, if you ever use Grok, ask it for its system prompt. Okay. It will give you the system prompt, and it's a very good prompt. I think it's a very solid prompt. Other AI models do not provide you their system
Yeah.
prompt. They're not very transparent. That's very sus. I will never give Sam Altman any money. That's for sure. Yeah. But anyway, I'll refrain from giving you my honest thoughts just because I can't talk about that man without using a slur. Anyway,
Okay.
same slur I would use for Don Lemon. I mean,
Okay.
like, yeah.
Any others?
What?
Like people that get the same slur?
Don Lemon and Sam Altman are both the same kind of individual that that just come to mind that
Okay.
I have no good words to say.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair.
yeah, yeah. Very no, never, no, very yeah. These people are not the thing.
The spooks are fucking listening. And just like that, he's out. Wow. Are you fucking kidding me? Bro. No. Hunter, are you with us?
Hello,
You with us?
hello.
Hello, hello, hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, 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 you hear me?
Hello, hello.
Hello? Yo, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you can. Okay. Hello.
Yo, yeah, yeah, you're good. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not hearing anything. Jeez,
Uh,
that is bizarre. Um,
wait, I think if you switch your you can't hear me? We type in the chat. Where's the chat?
yeah, I don't know.
How do you
I don't know why I can't hear you. But you can hear me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So, well, since we're on the last question, I'll just speak. And so, what I will tell you is, um, yeah, they're just despicable people. Uh, and so, um, with Bitcoin, let's get back to Bitcoin. I think it's I think it's going to be one of those things where, you know, it's going to be obvious in hindsight that, you know, we need to get on it. I'm very much like, you know, very focused on Bitcoin and um uh making sure that it's a viable fallback for the almost a mathematical inevitability for what they would call the debt spiral, like the hyperinflation of the U.S. dollar. You know, there's also like I was about to say, you know, like in intellectual honesty, there's also something called the dollar milkshake theory, and basically the idea is that like as as the world continues to like do its thing and get more complicated, countries will sort of yeah, the power outages. I think there might be some like winter storm thing. I don't know, which is also weird to me because we have like a battery system in this house, and on a UPS for here, which is weird. But anyway, so if you can still hear me, then basically, yeah, the dollar. So the idea is like, you know, fiat currencies will kind of like collapse into the dollar. That's one assumption. I think it's a flawed assumption because Bitcoin also exists, and you know, eventually, I think the dollar will. I mean, sure, all the other fiat currencies will collapse in the dollar, and the ones that don't will just go into Bitcoin. And then once the dollar goes, then it goes into Bitcoin, and it all becomes Bitcoin. And that's like, you know, like that's you know, basically like the high level of hyper Bitcoinization, also including the dynamics of the what they call the dollar milkshake theory. And so you know that there's that like perspective that it's sort of like in a mathematical inevitability. If you ever read Lynn Alden, you know, she's a very good author,
Yeah.
an
I
amazing
know that Alden.
person. She actually came to one of my quantum events last year.
Whoa.
And yeah, it was really cool. And also her book Broken Money is amazing.
Whoa.
Honestly, it's a like we have way better books now than when I first got into Bitcoin. Like there's Bitcoin for leftists or liberals or whatever they call it. There's I think you call it the progressive case for Bitcoin. I don't really pay much mind to leftist ideas anymore. I think they're kind of silly in a lot of ways. They'll point out like legitimate problems, but then they'll like say, "Oh, it's because greedy, capitalists," and like I mean, well, kind of, but like even like the greedy capitalists, like the thing is, like first of all, you want economically incentivized and motivated actors to like make rational decisions in their own self-interest, and like that. I think that's kind of a good thing. The problem is when they're like really antisocial, they make really bad decisions, like Sam Altman buying almost 1 million DRAM wafers and driving up the price of RAM for everybody for like I don't know, it's a 5x now, I think, right? Like RAM that used to cost $200 now costs $1,000. Yeah, that's all Sam Altman's fault. That's why one of the reasons why I have very little good things to say about the guy. He's just like a very like uncreative, scarcity-minded individual, and basically like the polar opposite of Elon Musk in many ways. Elon Musk, on the other hand, I think he's like the John Galt of our time. Or isn't it John Galt? Yeah. He's like the
Gonna
he's
say
like
I don't
the
know who that is either.
just like an incredible guy. And so anyway, and that's why I'm like a bit of a Grok maxi. I like Grok a lot, and I will never use any other AI model that's not as transparent. But anyway, Bitcoin is a really freaking important thing for us to do as a civilization because if we want, the Star Trek future that Elon talks about, where where AI automates everything, we can't really have that if we have $38 trillion of debt. And the reason for that is because Jeff Booth lays it out. Actually, Jeff Booth of Ego Death Capital, great group of people, by the way. Lynn Alden, Jeff Booth, and Preston Pish, all amazing people. But Jeff Booth in particular, and I've met Preston Fish and Lynn Alden, but I haven't met Jeff Booth yet. Maybe one day. But he's an amazing thinker, and he in The Price of Tomorrow in 2020, he talked a lot about AI for a book published in almost 6 years ago, right? Over 6 years ago, and so it's yeah. Anyway, he talked about like kind of technology's deflationary impact, and the thing with deflation is Keynesian economists, the ones that run our economy right now, like the bankers and bureaucrats and all that, like they hate to see line go down. Deflation to them is a sign not of progress. It's a sign of recession, of, a downturn. They've done something wrong for a number to go down. Number must always go up. And so they'll try to print money and they'll try to juice the economy, even though it's doing perfectly fine. It's just, well, I shouldn't say that. Our money's broken. There's a lot of things that are broken about our economy. It's certainly not like what the boomers had, right?
Yeah.
But that said, we're also arguably in a time of unprecedented opportunity. We have more technology available to us every day. I would not be black pilled, that's for sure. The orange pill. First of all, if you're black pilled, if you're really pessimistic about the future, please just read a Bitcoin book, learn about Bitcoin, study Bitcoin. Broken Money is a perfectly good introduction to that by Lynn Alden. Seventh Property by Eric Yakes, also another really solid book. And yeah, I mean, Saifedean's The Bitcoin Standard, the OG, right? Like that's also a really great book if you want to understand why Keynes was a pedophile. And just read the footnotes, read what like he literally explains it. Like maybe not he doesn't like highlight it and point like but like he basically like talks about it in the book. And I was like, whoa, okay, well, that's his perspective, and it turns out there's some facts behind it, like letters that he sent to. I digress. And so, um, Bitcoin, I think, is one of those things that we're just going to need to adopt if we're going to maintain the freedom that we're used to, or in other places of the world, gain freedoms that we haven't had that they haven't had. It'll also help bootstrap electrification in Africa. It'll be deflationary. We'll enter a Star Trek future where, we can just, I mean, we already can talk to computers, but like, it just be like a post-scarcity society, it's just, it's going to be really cool. But we can't really have that if we have this giant debt in our country. And the problem is, like, when you have deflation and an enormous debt that makes the debt harder to service.
Yep.
If you have
Yep.
inflation,
Yep.
you can kind of do what's called I think they call it financial repression or monetary repression, where essentially, and this is like a macro econ playbook that's played out in Israel in the 1980s and various other countries, where they deliberately print money very quickly to get out of their debt and on a stronger money. And we might have to do that with the dollar to yeah. Anyway, I am very, very strongly bullish on Bitcoin. Even if quantum computers break it, it's still two-thirds of the supply is still safe. Um, so I mean, like, look, I wouldn't worry about it. I would in fact relish the opportunity to pick up some sats below 90K, and if 90K is not good enough for you, then I guess wait till 100 or 110. I mean, we all buy sats at the price we deserve, and so. But probably good idea to like just have some just in case it catches on, as Satoshi would say. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, it was thank you. Yep.
You're
And
the GOAT, man. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
thank you.
All right. Have a good one, bro. I appreciate you. Peace. Whoa. Wow. Okay. To recap everything that Mr. Hunter Beast has just transcribed to us. Dude, that was insane. I don't even know what just happened. What? Okay, give me a quiz right now. Someone ask me any question from the stream and I'll answer it. Ask me any question. Does he have an X? Yes. What is Q day? Q day is when quantum computers can crack cryptography. Yep. What do you think about Sam Altman? He thinks about Sam Altman the same way he thinks about Don Lemon. What is BIP 360's soft fork to Bitcoin? I mean, look, that guy's fucking incredible. I mean, the fact that there are people like this that are obsessed with crypto and Bitcoin is unreal. I'm going to be fully just transparent with you. I still don't really know that much about the quantum threat for Bitcoin. Like, I don't. We might have to do another episode about quantum Bitcoin because I know less. I know less is really funny. That guy made me bullish on Bitcoin, but I don't really know why. That was incredible. Buddy, whether you like it or not, we are tokenizing you on the Solana blockchain, and get ready to learn Fin fucking bags, buddy. This brother is getting tokenized on the Solana blockchain. We're gonna tokenize this brother. The best part of the whole interview is when I said I know most of my Bitcoin from Michael Saylor, and he said, "Oh." Can you imagine that guy in Fin bags in a room for an hour, and he's getting shilled Bags app, and why it's important for technology? That guy, Jeffrey Huntley, and Fin bags walk into a bar. Hunter Beast, Ben Pasternak, and Fin bags walk into a bar. What do they talk about first? Ben Pasternak tries to inquire Hunter Beast about launching BIP 360 on Believe app. How does he do it? How does Ben Pasternak acquire it? Fin bags
and Hunter Beast discuss the BIP 360 movement. I mean, look, this is why we do streams, right? Like, there's not really much I can say. I'm kind of speechless. That's why we do streams. It's a little bit difficult when it's so high level that I'm like, I'm just like laughing at the chat and I can't really like. Yeah, actually, let's learn who this Keynes fellow is. Who is this? We're gonna have to be careful with this, I think. John Maynard Keynes, a pivotal economist, championed government intervention using fiat money to manage economies, contrasting sharply with the gold standard, arguing active monetary policy could stabilize demand, fight recessions, and combat unemployment. What? Fiat Milton Keynes refers to car dealerships and services in Milton Keynes? What? What? We've never heard of Keynesian economics. No, not really. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, like I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. Do I have to just? Should we just start like doing a history class, like the history of capitalism and shit on stream? Is that what we should do next? What's the books he said? Fuck my life. Should we just start doing history on stream until the market's fully back? Upload today's interview transcript in a Claude and say good luck. That's really good. Should we just do this? Like we should build a I should put a whiteboard in the back and it like we start to label all the different economic theories and we start with the oldest ones and like fast forward. That'd be kind of cool if like once, you know what we could do? Once a week on Friday, we could split screen, learn about an economic theory, and then I'll play Roblox on the other. I'll play fucking Grow a Garden on the other side. What do you think he would have said if I told him about Roblox devs making $38 million in a year? You think he'd understand? You think he has a take? During the stream, I've made $254 on up-down markets. LMAO. Dude, you're fried. You are fucking... You're just sitting here spamming 1-minute markets on Polymarket. What would Hunter Beast think about that? His brother's talking to you about aliens and why Satoshi's from another world and you're doing up-down markets on Bitcoin. Buddy, you're fried. Anthropic principle. That's a good one. What is this? What's on my screen right now? What is that? The Kai Cenat journal? What is on my screen? Wait. Anthropic. What's it called? Anthropic theory? Claude theory? Anthropic principle. A concept in cosmetology suggesting the universe's physical constraints and conditions might be just right for life to exist because we're here to observe them. If they were different, we wouldn't be around to notice, implying either fine-tuning a multiverse or a selection effect where our existence limits our observations. Dude, my brain's just cooked after that. Honestly, W stream today. Read 30 minutes a day. Dude. I read 30 minutes every day. At least, by the way. Was that a W stream?
Like, are you enjoying the direction we're taking stream right now, chat? Because I feel like we've changed a lot. Focus, a lot of solo, and then lit guests. Are you enjoying where we're taking the direction of the stream? What did you get from it? I got fuck Sam Altman is what I got from it. I feel like our streams are getting really good. The chat is getting lit too. You guys are lit. You guys are really lit. Read about the history of central banking. Interesting. I've been here the last 2 days just sitting here. Have you been here before the last 2 days? Buy RAM or short RAM. It's up 5x. There's only one altcoin up in the world. I should short it. Did anyone catch on Monero isn't safe and Bitcoin can be? I think because he thinks it's like made by a fucking CIA. I have a full summary and transcript. I do too, but thank you. I'm lying, I don't, but I just don't really want to deal with it. YouTube is growing a lot. Roblox video is going to go up on YouTube in a couple days, probably maybe a week. Tomorrow we're going to do a banger. Maybe next week, just like we did Roblox, we could do a deep dive on the Fortnite economy, potentially. I might do Fortnite economy, and maybe I'll do something else. But I might do the Fortnite economy if you want that. Well, you're into the gym, poll. They're making more on Fortnite than Roblox, by the way, if you didn't know that. Also, vibe coding a Roblox game is on the list. And maybe we could do vibe coding a Roblox game for next week, next Friday, maybe, if you wanted. Vibe coding a Roblox game and launching it. Some sort of open world where you guys can fuck around and play with me. Could maybe be fun. Maybe we'll do that. At some point. Pause. Bro, you weird. Bro, your motion is crypto. Brother, my motion is fucking making money. That's my motion. My motion is green and red shit. My motion is where there's opportunity, we strike on it. My motion is finding inefficiencies in markets to participate in and participating in them, brother. Life is motion. Life is motion, brother. Kinetic energy. Kinetic energy, brother. Motion is where there's green and red for us to go fucking make money. And that's what we fucking do. That's what we do on the stream. Where there's green, where there's red, we're here, and we're here to fucking take it, baby. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Every day we're going to get smarter. Every day we're going to get sharper. And I promise every day we're going to learn some shit. Tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, 3:30 p.m. EST from the capital of the fucking world, New York City. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.